are now live. We're live. We're live. We're live.
Excellent.
With
all right, then...
industry interview 140.
Okay, beautiful. I'm just going to say, bye, everybody. Thanks for joining me. And obviously, come back on this end. Follow the link. It'll tell you where to go.
Yeah,
we're going to chat.
Please come on. Please come on the channel here. We're going to.
Ooh. Have you seen Primal? Do you know season 3? I have not seen it. Anyway, thank you very much. Goodbye. All right, beautiful. That's done. Now it should, if everything works properly, send people in.
Okay. What the fuck is happening?
Has it notified you? Has it done something?
I can hear a weird echo. Something's. Hang on. Oh wait, I've sorted that out. That's because I had a window open with it. Yeah, it seems like a load of people have just come over, so that's great.
Beautiful. There you go.
So, for anyone that's new to my channel, which might be quite a few people, the Outcast Creative is here to support independent creatives. So if you're someone who is working on something like a computer game, which you might launch on Kickstarter, I don't know, in January, February, or you might do a board game, or you might have a novel series that you're pushing on Amazon, you might be developing a music track, something like that, then you're very welcome to come on my channel and promote it. Now, I do need to be able to show people something. So it's always good if it's not too early in terms of the stages of development, or you never know, we might be able to do some kind of thing where we discuss that side of it as well. Either way, get in touch with me via the Outcast Creative Facebook page. You can find me on Twitter under Lance Nielsen WD, which stands for Lance Nielsen Writer Director. I work in the film industry and creative arts full-time. I am a scriptwriter, novelist, acting coach, film director, playwright, and play director. I think I've covered everything. I think that's all my jobs. I think so. And occasionally, I come around to Mauler's house and do a bit of cleaning. Good God, have we got 422 people watching? Is that right?
We do indeed.
Oh, wow. What a Christmas present. So, well, I was going to say it would be great if I could hit 6K today, because I'm nearly at 6,000 subscribers. I worked very hard to get those. So anyone who feels like subbing, please do. Industry interviews is where I interview people in the creative professions. There are 140 of them on here. As much as I'm tempted to show you my minge, I'm going to refrain because it's near Christmas, and near Christmas is not showing minge time. Maybe in
you're so right. It's just not a festive thing, typically speaking.
No, I mean, in certain countries, I think it probably is. But
yeah, that's true. Culture,
I know there's several people here that are already subs. That's great. That's really nice of you to support me like that. And thank you to the 460 people watching. I am going to come on camera in a little bit. I'll try and make this as entertaining as possible. Anna Nielsen, my relative, is here because we're both Scandinavian and share the same Scandinavian surname. And
lovely.
Christmas, big thing in my house as a kid because my father was Danish. And I'll tell you one story quickly. One Christmas, there were no presents around the tree at all until Christmas Day, and he called us all downstairs, and he built this massive cave, like a mountain range with a cave in the front of it, and there was a train track going around the Christmas tree. This is a true story. He pulled a lever, and a train came out the tunnel, and it had all the presents on the back, and it started running around the Christmas tree, and he built all of that from scratch. I think it was like a one Christmas wonder, like it wasn't going to work again. But how cool is that Dad does something like that for you?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm just going to raise a glass to my late father because he's sadly no longer with us, but he always made Christmases incredibly special. I always got lots of cool presents and that kind of thing. Now I have to buy my own and put them under the tree.
I know, what a jip, right?
I know. Can I play the Lord of the Rings video game? Do you know which one he's talking about? Because we are going to talk about video games today.
Well, that could mean a couple of different ones. If they talk about Lord of Ring, that would be the Gollum one, and you would not enjoy that. It's a meme game, kind of.
I played one back in the day. I feel like it was on the Xbox 360. It was kind of linear, but it was all the scenes from the movies, and it was sort of a hack and slash, three-dimensional thing. Does that ring bells? That's the only one I've played, I think.
Well, there are shit tons of Lord of the Rings games, and many of them very good. But the one they're referencing is particularly terrible, and it's amusing to watch people play it. Is kind of the angle. Some might say it's the best one.
Anna says that you need to share a Christmas memory now, and she's private messaged me to say not one that involves a gas mask and lube. So if you can,
okay.
Yeah,
well,
many of those.
I forget exactly which Christmas it was, but I did get a gift of. It's one of those. I think they were like the brand was like Plug and Play or whatever, but it was, the little training ball that Luke plays with in Star Wars, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It was that, and it was like you get a lightsaber with it, and it's sort of like motion tracking. And the game, I don't know if anyone in chat's going to know what I'm talking about. I feel like at least one person would have played this, but it's like a series of videos that play, and it's like droids shooting at you or whatever, and you have to make sure you block in the right way at the right time. And it was funny. I got it on Christmas morning, and I was like, I gotta try this, right? Like I have to. And then my parents were like, yeah, that's great. And then I went up and played it, and I realized like eventually I was playing it, and I got so sucked in. They were like, hey, do you want to, like hang out with the family? I was like, no. I'm fine. I'm
playing that like at 4 p.m. in the afternoon?
Yeah. And I was like, I guess, fine, I will hang out. But yeah, I was obsessed with it. And then it's one of those games where you sort of get too good at it. And then I was like, I had like an Andy from Toy Story moment of, I don't think I want to play with you anymore. Especially when you get stuff like, like even Lord of the Rings 2 Towers, Return of the King on GameCube. I was obsessed with those, and Third Age. Man, and all the Star Wars games, Bounty Hunter. Video games are pretty cool. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna put out that hot take.
We're going to talk about that today because I don't have many video game experts on my channel, and I am a bit of a video game aficionado. Not many people know that, but I used to. I was always on my consoles for a long time. It's what got me through the passing of my parents. Was playing video games. I'm going to put the camera on quickly. Hello, everyone. So this is an Outcast Creative baseball cap, and I'm going to be giving this away as a special Christmas present today. But you're going to need to leave a permanent comment under this stream in order to be in the running for that. And in that comment, I want you to put all the unique swear words, and I say unique, I don't mean ordinary swear words, that Mauler has included in his Star Wars Outlaw 17-hour video review. So I'll give you an example of the type of swear word that I'm talking about. One of them would be basement donkey. That is a unique Mauler swear word. So if you do a comment under this post and put as many of those as you can remember from the video, I'm going to send this cap to the person who gets the most correct. If any of them are incorrect and they're not in the video, I'm afraid your entry will be invalidated. Right?
Damn.
Yeah, that is a good one. And Mauler will have the final say because he has a Maulosaurus, which has all the unique Mauler donkey basement swear words listed. So there's another one. Exactly. All of those will be in there. So I think I've opened the door here. I might regret that. Before we get into the quick fire questions, which I always ask all of my interviewers, I'm going to do a bit of shameless plugging. So people may well know that I'm a published author. I'm also an award-winning playwright. I did the play about the post office scandal, guys, 3 years before the TV drama came out. So I was all over that. This is my latest book, and you'll be pleased to know that Mauler is coming with me to a day rave in 2026. He has committed in writing while he was asleep, which me and Drinker got. So not possession. So me, Drinker, and Mauler are going to go to a day rave together. This is true. This is happening.
I see.
Yeah.
I don't remember saying that, but you seem so sure about it. So
Well, yeah, I'm absolutely 100% sure. I have video evidence to prove. So this book, Back to Raving at 50, is my latest book. It's semi-autobiographical. It's out on Amazon now. It's getting amazing reviews. So if you are a raver like this chap, thank you for saying so. This is about my adventures of day raving for the last 3 years. And it's also a wider story about dealing with PTSD and mental health and that kind of thing. I was at Rave Story. Yeah, there's two entries about Rave Story in there. I was there. So if you think you might find that interesting, now listen, if you're like, oh, I've never been to a rave, what's he talking about? I'm leaving this stream immediately. You might like this book slightly better. This is 125 times that I went to the cinema and all the memories that were attached to those specific films, i.e. was I with a particular girlfriend at that time? Where did I see the film? Which cinema was it? What kind of impact that movie had on me going forward, and also the films that changed and shaped my life, the films that made me want to become a film director, and then the films that influenced the way I directed my own stuff. That's also out there. Both of these have got cracking reviews, so I'm not sticking something in front of you guys that's a waste of your time. I think you will find them both entertaining. And this one's got a forward by the Critical Drinker. So when I've done my second rave book, it will have a forward by Mauler, you see, because he will have been raving by then.
Oh my. I'll be an expert.
It all planned out. Yeah, I know, right?
I'll have to do a 20-hour video on raving.
Mate, you could do that. Yeah, so in case Mauler hasn't told you, obviously we're going to be streaming, started now. This stream will finish sometime Sunday morning. So we're going to see if we can top the outdoors thing. I'm getting a load
of course.
No, it won't be that long. I'm getting a load of super chats here. I'm going to try and keep on top of these to the extent that I can as we go along, because otherwise I'm going to have to get you back for a super chat catch up. The Uninspired Reviewer, a really good friend of mine, by the way, and he is also a raver and a YouTuber. Cheers, Lance Mauler, lovely bloke, really nice guy. And Dead Gamer, dude, 20 quid, man. Thank you so much. I'm not a rich guy either, so these kind of things will help pay for that hefty gas and electricity bill. I'm not black, no, just on the inside. I was born in South Africa though, so there you go. And adopted at the age of 1. It's all in the book, actually, funny enough, that story. Anna Nielsen, here she is. Merry Christmas, Lance. May you get 6K today. Today's the 24th anniversary of the Fellowship of the Ring theatrical release. Well, those movies are all in my Silver Screen Journeys book, and I was there on the opening day. It was fantastic stuff. Kit Anders, I've read the first few chapters of Silver Screen Journeys. I can confirm it's a good read. Thank you, mate. You only subscribed to my channel the other week, and you've already bought my book. So, again, really appreciate that support. Can't tell you how much that means to me. Here's another quick one. Have you talked to anyone involved in the Time Splitters Rewind project? They have an official Discord and are remaking the Time Splitters trilogy. I have heard about that, and I haven't had direct contact with them, but if they want to come on the channel and talk about it, please send them my way. I would love to do a stream with them. I used to play that game, so yeah, so that'd be a good one. All right, okay, good. I've caught up with those. Right, Mauler, I'm going to ask you a series of quick fire questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
You'll be pleased to know that most of them are not of an adult nature, although, you know, he did try and tinker with the list. Okay, so I always ask this question to my guests. What was the first film you saw in the cinema as a kid that you can remember seeing anyway?
So I can't be 100% sure, but if memory serves, I believe it was Small Soldiers, which... yeah. I got a distinct memory of seeing it in the theater. The only thing is, I guess this kind of makes sense. I would have been 5.
Right. So the one where the toys come to life and you got the two sides.
Fuck yeah, dude. Tommy Lee Jones being Chip Hazard. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, not to be confused with Toy Soldiers that stars Wil Wheaton. Which is kind of Die Hard in a school with a load of kids, but is still fun. Last film that you paid to go and see at the cinema.
Well, unfortunately, fucking hell, this is actually going to stress my brain in terms of like which. It would have been awful more than likely because it would have been something new. What was it? Because I'm seeing Avatar.
Predator.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah,
that's probably it.
Yeah. I'm seeing Avatar tomorrow. Yeah, chat. And I will be doing I'll do a live review of it tomorrow night when I get back from my day rave, because I'm doing Avatar with my goddaughter. I'm going to be dressed in all my raving gear when I go to the cinema, which is going to be interesting because it's all going to go luminous in the dark. So I'm going to have to try and cover it up. And then I'm going to a day rave. So straight after, which is interesting. Okay, that was the last one. First games console you ever owned?
Ooh, okay. Well, it only if it counts, it would be Game Boy Color, I think.
Okay, what about that was a portable one. I used to work at games, so I used to sell those. But what about the first one you had connected to a TV?
All right, so that would have been, I think, the GameCube. I was pretty late with this. We were not very financially stable growing up in this household, so there's a lot of stuff I wanted I didn't get, and my friends were playing the shit out of old generations while I was in school, being like, those look fun. And I have very fond memories of going over friends' houses and playing the N64 and absolutely loving it, but we couldn't afford one. So I was just like, well, we were watching films. Hence, by the way, why my obsession is more so with film than game, even though I absolutely love games. Film was like ingrained into my brain earlier and more excessively, to the point where a lot of the guys I grew up with in school hadn't watched the kinds of films that I'm sure would make you cry if you knew that they didn't see them. For example, I would reference something like Aliens, and they would be like, "What's that?" I'd be like, "Oh, okay, that's okay."
I don't know if you can see it, but behind the X-Wing in the cabinet here is the vinyl soundtrack to Aliens.
Beautiful.
And this is just there. Let me continue. First computer game or console game that you absolutely played to death?
Ooh, Quake, and that was on PC, and I absolutely adored it. And I was definitely, it was the kind of game that I've mentioned this on stream before. My parents just didn't understand games really. They were just like, they're weird pixel. To them, games were like like arcade stuff. So Pac-Man, Tetris. They were just like, they're kind of like puzzles or whatever. There's nothing to them that would be the same, because they had restrictions when it came to films. Like, you can't see this one because it's too old for you. You can't see this because of the violence, the drugs, or the nudity, whatever. With games, they were just like, yeah, you can play games, whatever. Games are just games. But playing Quake, if they had seen me playing it, they never really did or never really understood it. They probably wouldn't have let me play it. But I played that super young, and I loved it.
I played that right till the end. It was like there were two games that came out around that time. I can't remember the name of the name of the other one was the name of the character. And I was working for Virgin.
Duke Nukem.
Duke Nukem, that was it.
Yeah.
And I was working at Virgin Games when Quake came out. I love
Quake.
It was good. It was the best of that sort of type around that time.
It was funny as well. It like biased me in favor of Quake because I played Doom after Quake, and I was like, Doom's cool. I like Doom, but I prefer Quake. And all my friends were like, no, wrong, Doom better. And I was like, oh, well, I
agree with you. I did the same thing as well because I played them the wrong way round, and so Doom felt a bit old hat because I played Quake. Okay, film question: 3 films that you would take with you on a desert island for your top 10. So you can only take 10 films. You're going to be there for a year. What are 3 that would definitely be 3 that would?
So I have to ask you as the host here. What are the rules? Am I allowed to take only one Lord of the Rings film or the trilogy?
No, the trilogy counts as one movie in 3 parts, as we all know, Mauler. So you can take all 3 of them as one of your choices.
If that's the rules, I'm going to be taking that. I'll be taking the Indiana Jones trilogy because they didn't make any more after that. That's crazy.
Jones films. There are only 3 Indiana Jones movies.
So that and the 3rd trilogy, what would I grab? Maybe Back to the Future just to round it out. Seems like a solid selection.
I mean, you've got 3 of the best trilogies ever made there.
Hell yeah.
And I've seen all 3 of those at the cinema at the same time as well, which was fantastic. Another super chat. Thank you so much, Mega Spider-Man. I never expected to see Mauler's interview here. It's rare that he does one, and it's a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Well, Mauler and I are friends outside of YouTube.
Yes.
So some people may not know that, but we are.
We've had a few chats here and there.
we've also worked together outside of YouTube. And also, if you look at Industry Interview 1, Mauler is my guest. So he was on Industry Interview 1 with Drinker, and they were my guest co-hosts interviewing Jason Flemyng. So I brought Mauler onto my channel like right from the get-go.
Hell yeah.
Extended that invitation because I wasn't going to invite you and not invite Will and not invite you. That would have felt really rude.
I would have understood, though. He is the critical drinker after all.
But, you know, some of us were brought up well and have manners, you know what I mean?
Beautiful.
So we're not all just about, you know, getting subs and all of that kind of thing. Anyway, let's move on. Most disappointing movie of 2025.
Oh, what a thought. Most disappointing. So this needs. Okay, yeah, I think it's Superman. I think that's going to be it.
Okay, and I haven't even seen it. So
as someone, so like with James Gunn, I've been tracking and very interested in his sort of career. You know, I thought Guardians of the Galaxy was great, top tier, and then ever since then, with every instance, it feels like it's just been depreciating over the time, like his abilities as a storyteller. And you know, Superman, I was like, all right, you know, we got a shot here. Like this could be good. You can see all the conversations leading up to the release. Trailer was, you know, I was like, yeah, there's something here. And then you went to see it, and the more I thought about it, especially after Little Platoon's video, which I fully recommend, it's just like, wow, what a piece of shit. And it's more than just a film that I hoped would be good. I think it's really bad that Superman has to suffer again for another generation, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I just felt it was too soon for a kind of Superman reboot. It just doesn't feel like that long ago that we've had a whole load of other Superman incarnations, but I've said it on other streams. I'm a bit superheroed out, so I'm not the.
I get you. Doing guy. The Returns and then Man of Steel and now Superman. This one, it's just sad that all three have been duds as far as I'm concerned in terms of approaching the character. So yeah, you know, you have to wait.
Most disappointing TV series of 2025, and chat, please chime in.
Ooh,
I want to see if your thoughts align with mine, because I know what mine is, and I've got the best of the worst of 2025 on the 30th of December at 9 p.m, which will be my final stream for the year. So do join us then. And of course, Mauler, you're welcome to jump on that if you're free, but I'm sure you'll be busy.
So this of 2025, I'm trying to remember what came out in total this year, and you might be able to help me out on this, but a high scorer is going to be Alien Earth, because even though I thought it was going to be either okay to bad, it was catastrophically awful. So
I mean, I had high hopes for it when I first saw the trailer, because there were some things in the trailer that I thought looked interesting, and I thought, okay, maybe this might be interesting, and there was some good acting in it, especially the guy that played the android, who's an actor that Babu Saisi, who's an actor I've spoken to many times, and the production design, the sets, it looked like it was from that universe, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure, I agree with that.
The script and the story, and just like, don't you know that if you put the alien in the daylight, man, it just loses all of its.
You know. But the one that probably takes it for me is going to be Daredevil Born Again. That was early this year.
Okay.
I'm pretty big into. I really liked the Netflix show. I thought it was excellent at times, just like it transcending its like limits, and then, you know, it sort of it ends a bit. There's criticisms to be made of the Netflix show for sure, but the idea it's getting revived, we're bringing back everyone we care about, and then they just open with some of the worst shit ever, killing like one of the more beloved characters for the shock value, and then just this garbled mess of a show where they get rid of all of the characters everyone cares about and replace them with a bunch of fucking useless posters and flanderized Daredevil the character. And they removed a lot of elements of the character. It's just I hated it. I hated that show, and I thought it was a piece of shit. So, you know, and I was hoping it would be at least okay, but if not, great. It would have been really nice if it was great, but no, we ended up with the bad universe.
I've already had a few subs, so thank you very much. I'm currently at 5,852. It's a 2-part mission on this stream, and one of those parts is to get to 6K before the end of it. So chat, help me out if you can. I'd really appreciate it. Consider it a personal Christmas present to me. I have another super chat from Glyn Jones, who says, Mauler, what's worse, The Rise of Skywalker or Outlaws? I mean,
Okay,
two different mediums, obviously, but which
Yeah,
one is
this-
the biggest insult to the Star Wars universe? Maybe that if we
Yeah, if
frame
I could open with, like, first of all, it's really fucking hard to compare them. However, I will do my best. So, Rise of Skywalker is an absolute travesty, and everyone basically agrees it's such an awful movie, and it does plenty of damage to Star Wars. If not, it was already dead at the time. Outlaws, though, the angle there would be the damage to the IP is basically non-existent in the sense that no one cares about Outlaws, and it's already a part of, like, just a dead franchise. But you have to consider Rise of Skywalker is a functioning movie in the sense that you can go to a place and press play and it will complete. Outlaws can't make that same claim. It will freeze, fall apart, you'll fall through the floor. It's like unfinished in every aspect of it. So it's like it's kind of like 6 of one, half a dozen the other. Which is worse? I'd be half tempted to say Outlaws in the sense that I'd never want to touch that thing again. While Rise of Skywalker, I can watch and laugh with friends and just try and be like, "Yep, that happened. What the fuck was that?" And it takes like 2 hours and it's over, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I have now seen 11 hours of your Outcast Outlaws thing. I had it on as soon as I got up this morning. I put it on, and it was like time until the interview 8 hours, and I thought, oh, I've got to be able to cover most of it today. Still going. I've got like 4 hours left, but it is a work of genius. Well, I'll get to it in a bit. I don't want to jump ahead. I've got a little list of topics here, and it'll work best if we work through them in order. But we will get to that. Last of the quick fire questions. What would be your either TV or film? What would be your sort of surprise? You know, the dark horse of 2025. I think, oh yeah, that was actually pretty good. Wow, I like that. And there might be more than one that you want to mention, but at least let's mention at least one. You know,
A surprisingly good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few good things in 2025.
Oh yeah, there's definitely things I like. I'm just trying to think of what one I guess surprised me.
Some good stuff. There's been some, yeah, I've got to say, Hardcore's just mentioned Pluribus, and do put in chat, do put your favorite.
Oh yeah, I like Pluribus, but obviously I expected to like it because it's Vince Gilligan. I have a lot of faith in him as a storyteller. So
I love it, and the lead actress is amazing.
Yeah, no, I like it more in Pluribus than I did even in Better Call Saul, and she was really good in that as well.
She's completely selling the show. Warfare is also, that's also a good choice. I saw that at the cinema. I'm glad I saw it at the cinema as well. It's good. Good Boy. That's another good one. Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought any of these were necessarily dark horses, but maybe Good Boy is the one to choose in terms of just it could have been, it could have been struck with a lot of issues as would come with the scope and scale of a project like it, but I think they pulled through,
It's good to see that people have a sense of humor in chat, as Caleb says, Zootopia 2. Yeah. I like. Oh yeah, Mobland. I did like Mobland, actually.
I really like Mobland, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, and it's way better than Gangs of London, which I thought Gangs of London just, they had this whole plot where this building blew up in the middle of the city and it collapsed, and and then it said on the news there was only 3 people dead. Fuck off! If a building that size blew up in the city of London, even though it's a low population area compared to the rest, you'd still have hundreds dead. You'd have people getting cancer from ash, and and it would change the city forever. And I just thought, this is ridiculous. They don't know. They don't know the realities of their own world. So Gangs of London was a big turkey for me, but Mobland I really, really liked. I liked the performances. Quiet, Darth Plato. Shush now. He's saying it's overrated. But great. Okay, so I want to talk about how you first got started as a YouTuber, and I'm aware of some of the history, and I'm sure a lot of the people watching are as well. But there will be a few Luddites like myself that don't quite know the very beginnings of the Small Acorns. So if we could drill into that a little bit. Well, was it that you were a casual YouTuber and you suddenly had a video go viral, or was it an intentional thing? Were you like Dark Aaron, you went in with a battle plan, I must get so many subs by the end of the year? Or Just talk us through your.
There's like a 30-second answer to this. And there's also like a 5-minute one. I'm not sure what
Give
you
me
want.
the 30-second answer first, and if I feel that's not sufficient, I'll press you on the.
All right. I definitely set out to want to be a YouTuber. I had watched enough of it for a long time. I had a lot of people I was inspired by, and I was like, I think I can do this. And so I worked really hard on a lot of different videos, and then so that was happening, and then opportunity struck, right, with TLJ, which wasn't the intention, in the sense of I was really pissed off with the movie. I made a video. It was, I think, low quality compared to the stuff I was making, but I did it fast because I was just like, I hate this movie. I'm going to rant about it and then get on with my other projects. And lo and behold, I spotted like, wait, this one's shooting off and it's getting a shit ton of views and people really want to know more about what I think of Star Wars. And now here we are, basically.
So that was one of your long critique videos. How long was that one running time?
That one I think was only half an hour. It was I got a really distinct memory. I came home and I was 50-50 on the movie, and it was the 50-50 of I didn't understand my own feelings on it. It, like, the film had finished and I was like, what was that? What did I just see? I was like, I don't know how I feel about so much of that. That was insane.
That was I've only seen it once. That was the last one, wasn't it, in the trilogy, in the new trilogy?
Right? TLJ, so that was the second one.
The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, we're talking about the Ryan I'm making up as I go along Johnson.
Yes, okay. yes.
Right.
So what happened was the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I don't think I like this. And then I got into a call with two friends at the time. It was Metal and Fortier. And I just started asking them questions to see if I was insane. I was like, what did you think of, like, what happened with Snoke? What did you think of what happened with Luke? What did you think of it? And a lot of their answers were sort of like, I don't know, seemed kind of strange, but also I guess, it's kind of like surprising. You don't really expect that. And I was like, yeah, I guess you don't, right? Because it would be insane to do what he did. Like, they were horrible story decisions. And the more I talked about it, the more angry I got. And then I started to be like, I actually have some notes that I want to work through, some thoughts, and then I was just like, oh, fuck it, and I just hit record and started rambling, basically. As a visual, I thought, what if I had a rotting watermelon time lapse? And that's what the visual was.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. I don't know if I saw that before we knew each other or afterwards. I feel like it was before. Okay. So was that your first video to sort of go viral?
Yeah, up to that point, which is kind of interesting, by the way. The most I'd ever gotten on a video was about 100 views, and it was with the Dark Souls 2 series of videos I did, which I put an immense amount of effort into. And I thought, hey, you know what? I'll just keep going, and maybe one day, like, these count as sort of evergreen projects that people can go back to and check out. And when the TLJ video kicked off, the view counts on the DS2 stuff started to kick up as well. And I was like, oh shit, I guess people are checking out my actual stuff. Kind of like, I guess, how I planned it. It's like this is sort of working. And I realized, like, well, it's time to really go to work and start making more breakdowns and more stuff on Star Wars.
Yeah. I'll come back to why Star Wars in a little bit. Let me keep on top of these. I'm just gonna Proxify, who's one of my mods, and he's also been on my channel. And by the way, that goes for any other YouTubers on here. If you ever want to jump on and listen, I don't care if you've got a channel with 5 subs, 50 subs, or 5 million subs. I don't care. If you're interesting and you want to come on my panel on Tuesday to talk about the latest things that you've seen that you've liked or don't like, it's always Tuesday, 10 o'clock UK time. We normally stream for a couple of hours. I do also occasionally do what I call a Chew the Fat live stream, where, for example, like we did every episode of Band of Brothers over several weeks, and we talked about why that show was so amazing, and we did it episode by episode. I will be doing season 3 of The Shield next year because that's my favorite cop show of all time. Mauler, did you ever look into Unknown 9 Awakening? Character models aside, I think you'd be interested in how ambitiously they approached the story. I wound up interviewing the story architect afterwards to learn more. Is that a game or is that a movie?
Unfortunately, I've never heard of it. Looks like it's a video game, though.
Procto, just put a bit more information in the chat, mate, and I'll come back to that.
So it's a 2024 action-adventure game developed by Canadian studio Reflector Entertainment, published by Bandai Namco. Set in India in the 20th century, focuses on a woman with magical powers fighting against a mysterious organization that killed her mentor.
Sounds a bit like the animated story within Kill Bill.
Maybe, sure.
Tino's, that sort of backstory with the girl, and it's all the scenes are animated with her storylines. So that's a bit like that. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of the Shield, mate. If you look behind me, the whole lot, they're all here on the shelf. Physical media, of course, so I can watch them whenever I want. That's one of the few TV series. I think I've watched it about 7 times, the whole thing all the way through. Have you ever seen it, Mauler?
Seen what? Sorry. Oh, The Shield. No, I've. It's been recommended to me a couple of times though.
Mate, just watch the pilot. It's one of the best pilots of a TV show ever, and I guarantee you'll be like, okay, I want to see what happens to these characters. And all of the what's so great about that show is that you'll really love a character 1 minute or for a couple of episodes, and then they'll do something that will really piss you off. But then they'll redeem themselves. They'll have a natural, not forced, a natural redemption arc somehow. And sometimes that payoff might come the next season. And they do this with all of the characters, even like the sort of, the minor supporting players that come in every week. You've got like 8 leads, and then you've got like another 8 supporting. It's such a good show. One of the best cop shows ever made. Man, I'm getting lots of super chats here. Thank you so much for these. Mega Spider-Man. There was a very big gap between Superman Returns 2006 and Man of Steel 2013, and the now Superman. Not big enough, if you ask me. They squandered Cavill and maybe Corn Sweat too. I think Cavill was perfect for Superman. I just think he didn't get the best scripts.
Oh, agreed. I honestly, I would back Corn Sweat as well. From what I've seen, he seems like a really friendly dude. He knows Superman better than James Gunn does, and it's unfortunate he was given the script that he got. Seems that we get a lot of that with Superman.
I mean, I would have loved to have seen Cavill as Bond.
Yeah.
I think the way to restart Bond now is they should do a period Bond, because you can't just pick it up after what they did with the miserable Craig era. And we don't want another miserable Jason Bourne Bond era. Go back to the 1960s and do it with him first joining. And set it in the 60s, 007. You could just call it 007, the first one. And look, if they want to do a female in the Bond universe, I'm all up for it. Just call it a spin-off and call it 009. And that'll be the 009 films. And there's your female Bond, and you can have her. But she can't be James Bond 007. She has to be called, Karen Gold or whatever.
You want to call her Karen, I see.
Yeah, Karen, that would work, wouldn't it? That definitely wouldn't upset people. That would definitely work. Yeah, but I do agree. Cavill should have been. We got robbed not having Cavill as Bond. Yeah, I agree. Oh, right, we're going down all kinds of rabbit holes now. Let me refocus on my questions. So after that video popped, what year was that took
That was right at the end of 2017.
Damn, and that was the year that my now ex-wife, my wife at the time, I came in, we learned we were getting fucked on this movie, and we'd lost out on £500,000 And I came in, and she jumped off of the sofa and she said, I've got it. You should be a YouTuber. And my kind of perception of YouTube then was kind of like makeup girls doing makeup and all of that stuff. I'd seen somebody called like Noisy Andrew or something doing film reviews, and I just thought I wouldn't do them like that, and that's and I thought, who's going to want to listen to me talking? I've got a face like Quentin Tarantino. So but she was right. I just didn't get it. I just didn't get it, and I did suggest to her that we should do it together, and a lot of couples have done YouTube and made a really successful career out of it. And I mean, she basically looked like Gabrielle Union for the benefit of the 550 people watching, except better looking and taller. So that's my ex-wife. So, so 2017, that's interesting. If I'd done it then, you and I probably would have met a lot sooner, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Timelines, eh?
So when, I mean, I know you like to keep your private life very private, and we also don't want to give away the location of your secret volcano base where you're currently residing. But obviously YouTube now is a full-time job for you, right? Effectively,
Yeah.
Full-time, right? Between that video coming out in 2017 to the transition of, hey, I'm going to do this full-time now, parents, don't be too concerned and cart me off to the funny farm, please. How long was that? What was the time?
So the only hesitation I would say this is I just want to preface this with, you absolutely should not do this. Don't take me as a role model on this front. I should not have done this, but I did it because
now. I mean, you did it at the right time. It's impossible now.
What I guess I'm saying is, well, even when I did what I'm about to explain, it was said it was like not a great time to try this sort of thing. But my parents were like, you need to obviously pursue doing regular jobs. You need to get a foundation. You need to be secure. When I saw the first video kick off, I was like, listen, I'm gonna just work nonstop and make a whole bunch of videos, and I'm just gonna leave my job and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make it work. And they were like, "That's insane."
Yeah,
and they were right to say this to me.
Talk and
my mum was very unhappy. She had many words, and I was just like, what's funny is other family members had different opinions. They were like, "No, this, believe it, you could do this." And of course, my mum was like, "No, it's not that. It's just like, this is so risky. This is so insane." And I was just like, I think I could do it. I was like, I'm almost it. The way I felt was like, this is my one shot, and I've got to take it. So it was one of those sorts of, it was like a movie moment of like, I'm just gonna take the risk, and it paid off, obviously, but I just wouldn't recommend anyone do it. And to be honest with you, I shouldn't have, quote unquote. It's they say, right, like like luck in a way is like work plus opportunity.
Yeah.
So it was a combination of the right film came out at the right time, but I also worked my ass off. So in a way, it's like I did see my own path ahead, and I was like, I can make that happen, but it still could have collapsed. There's no way I could have known.
I mean, anybody that questions your work ethic just needs to look at Outlaws, which we'll come on to in the, when we're in the second hour of this. So, I mean, now that your mother has a 10-bedroom house, does she feel a bit more amenable to what's happened? She's driving the new Prius with the new aircon, and
she still doesn't understand YouTube whatsoever. She'll see me working, or she'll ask about it. I'll explain briefly in the best I can, and she'll just sort of nod her head and be like, "Yeah, that sounds great. That's great. Lots of people are still watching you, huh?" And I was like, "Yep." But
don't you just like point to the 50-inch TV in the house and just say, "Look, you do understand that we had a smaller TV before I did YouTube, and then suddenly one day that television and the really comfortable sofa appeared." I don't know if you know the correlation, Mother.
Well, of course, we eventually had that moment, maybe a year or two after, where she was just like, you made the right call, and you've done amazing, that sort of stuff. It was very, it was a good memory, because it. You try to get somewhere and you make it, and then the parents can comfortably say that they're very proud, because that's what they want, obviously, is for their kid to be able to make it on their own, sort of thing.
I just can't read that. What does it say? Jigerson Voorhees, sorry, because I've got the wrong glasses on for reading really tiny writing. Most people can't do it because most people don't have the manic drive and the ability to constant work, sun up, sundown. Most people, his endurance, as in your endurance levels are insane. I mean, yeah, you and I both work insane hours, because it's funny. Mauler's one of the few people I can text at 4 a.m. and he'll probably reply 5 minutes later. Are you up? Yes, I am. I mean, Mauler's also seen me work. Well, kind of seen me work. No, you have. I mean, you weren't on set.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
You've seen all the videos. Mauler's seen me work firsthand in my other job, so he knows what a different game I'm on when I'm on set and I'm running a crew on a film set. I'm nowhere near as relaxed and easygoing as I am when I'm doing a YouTube channel stream. It's a totally different environment, and time is your enemy, and there's no time for bullshit. So, and for those people that don't know this, I directed Mauler's first screenplay of his to be directed. I directed it. That's one of the other. We were already friends before that, and I was quite honored to be asked to do it. And thank you again, by the way.
Well, thank you. Obviously, very, very happy with how it turned out. And those in chat who've not seen it, eventually, don't you worry. Will.
That reminds me, guys. So you 500 plus people that are watching. It's so good that you came over here, because I can tell you that we are going to have a private screening of All in Good Time on the big screen in London. I can tell you when it's happening, so you can put the date in your diaries, people. It's happening on the 22nd of January, which is a Thursday. Turn up time will be about 6 o'clock. The screening will be at 6:45. There'll be a Q&A with myself, Drinker, actor Jason Flemyng, actor Nick Rowe. Mauler may or may not be there, may or may not be appearing by remote means, all to be determined. And there's going to be 100 tickets for sale for the general public. We think the cost of those will be between 10 and 15 quid. And for that, you're going to get, obviously, to see the movie, which is only 20 minutes. You're also going to get a poster for the film, which is going to be signed by myself. It's going to be signed by Will and Mauler. You're also going to be signing them all, because we're going to send them to your house first, and you're going to sign them all and send them back to us.
Sure.
So, so there'll be a signed poster for everybody. And I think there might be a free drink as well. I think there might be like a glass of Prosecco or possibly a beer.
Lovely.
So you get quite a bit for the 10, 15 pounds. And also a meet and greet with the Drinker, which will be more interesting than a meet and greet with myself. But I will also be there to talk to people. Jason Flemyng hopefully will be there, subject to filming, of course, as it always is with actors. And Nick Rowe, who of course played young Sherlock Holmes, will be there, and probably the other actors as well, who are three very interesting people and have done a lot of stuff. So if you guys are interested in that, Drinker will be talking more about it in January. We'll have a link up for it for people to purchase tickets. There's only going to be 100 tickets for sale, and we've got a private bar afterwards. So, it's sort of going to be a nice sort of very, very casual thing. It won't be quite as chaotic as when Gary and Co came over, and I had to organise the queue for Will for him to sign stuff, and that was just bonkers. I don't know if anybody in the chat was there, and if you were and you said hello to me, great to see you again. 85 inches. Now, is this why you're called the Longman? We have always wondered about that. It's always that to do with the length of your videos.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just don't like to tell people, secret.
Exactly. Absolutely. To both of those scenarios. Moving on. So, okay. So you kind of did it straight away. You just sort of said, right, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And you gave it a shot. The job that you quit, what job was that you knocked on the head? Do you mind?
That was tech support, and it was a pretty nightmarish job for anybody who's done it. It's the best part of it, honestly, was even the training, being with a bunch of guys, being taught in a fun sort of environment, just how to deal with different customers and stuff. But when you finally get there, it is just horrible.
Just ask the people that designed the Horizon system for the post office what tech support's like, or the people that worked on the so-called helpline for the post office.
One of the worst things, honestly, before even solving problems, is just you accept the call and you just hear like, you're just like, I can't hear anything you say. They're usually like, you're just like, yeah.
I bet you're glad you're out of that and you don't have to.
Oh, it was like, again, in the back of my mind, I was just like, this is an excuse to get rid of that job. But I knew if YouTube just didn't kick off, I couldn't make enough money, that I would have to find something else. But I figured I'd probably not go back to the tech support job. I'd try and find something else.
Merry Christmas, Lance. Thanks for all your work on All in Good Time. It's very good. I appreciate that. Jeremy, I'm assuming you're one of the people that supported the crowdfunding campaign, which is why you've seen the film early. So thank you for supporting. And thank you for the £5. The way this is going, I think I might be able to pay off my gas and electric bill fairly soon. So thank you very much for these, because I'm not a rich guy. So thank you very much. So lots of comments coming in, and also hi Weebs. I don't know who Weebs is.
Weebs. I have a lot of nicknames, so that's what I'm
okay. Well, some of those probably should just be said in private. Also, once you started, so that was 2017, that Star Wars video. I vaguely recall that the first time you and Wil did a stream together. Am I right in thinking that was 2020 during lockdown?
Oh, so that's a great question.
It was about 6 months before you came on my channel, because the first time Wil live streamed and he was on his own, I just happened to be like the first guy that came in the chat, just because, oh, it's that guy, let me jump in, he's live, let me jump on. And somebody else came in the chat and went, you need a moderator. And I just went, I'll do it. I didn't even know what a moderator did in chat. So for all those people that have watched me modding in the chat, I had no idea what a moderator was when I put my hand up. Because I was always working from home, I just thought it was something I could do because I knew I would watch his live streams. And I already have plenty of nicknames, Miss Sparkles. I might reveal some of those later.
I can get you a solid answer on this, actually, because the efap.me site actually has got recorded everybody's appearances. So apparently,
get that answer while I quickly dash for a wee.
Very well. Yeah. So obviously, drinkers come onto the show many a time. In fact, it says, I think, total appearances here we got 55. Which I'm not even sure if that includes the times he's been on EFAP movies, but if it doesn't, oh no, I think it does. That makes sense. I think 5 by, yeah. So obviously, I think I emailed him, or he emailed me. Something happened, but I knew I became aware of him. I'd seen him in my recommended before someone recommended him. I could have sworn I saw him in passing. I've said this to Drinker himself, that I was like, I think the first time I saw his channel, I understood him as a parody channel. I thought his thing was like, he'll praise bad movies and it'll do it in a funny way.
Right. Okay.
But I hadn't like seen different things from it yet. But then someone in a super chat, whatever, recommended the channel, and I was like, all right, I'll watch it probably. I was enjoying it, and I think either I emailed him or he happened to email me. But the first episode of EFAB he was on was actually EFAB 40, which means year 1, which means I think that's actually 2018. Let me check. I was
thinking of the first time you were on together, which was like the precursor to Open Bar.
Oh, like the first time I was on one of his streams, you're saying?
Merry Christmas to Quentin Tarantino's long lost brother, director Lance Tarantino. I had met Quentin twice. I was at the very first UK screening of both Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. Neat. And I met him at both of them. And at the second one, I said, I don't know if you remember me, but I was at Pulp Fiction, and I'm the guy that everybody thinks looks like you. Every time I go raving, I get at least one person comes up to me. One person actually came up to me the other week and said, "Are you Quentin Tarantino?" And I went, "No, but I'm the love child of Quentin Tarantino."
July of 2019 is when I met him, and I guess I can't remember when he did his first stream that he invited me on his channel, but it obviously would have been after that.
I feel like it was around lockdown or going into lockdown. That was at the Nottingham Broadway Cinema. That was Pulp Fiction. The Reservoir Dogs was at the London Film Festival at the Odeon West End. Before it got divided up into 2 screens and then got demolished, which was a real shame. It's now a hotel. What a travesty. I do indeed go to raving. Would you like proof of this? I feel they like proof. Mauler, what do you reckon?
You know what? Why don't you provide them proof while I do what you just did and go for a pee quick?
You go for a quick wee. Okay, so yeah, I do go raving. I go to day raves because I am 50, and they start at 1 o'clock and they end at 9 o'clock. Would you like to see me dancing at 1? Here you go. Listen, I'm telling you, anyone watching, right? If you've never been dancing, like nightclubs weren't for you back in the day. But you feel like you missed out on something. And by that, by the way, I'm not talking about recreationals or anything like that, but you just feel like you wanted to, but you didn't, because maybe you felt you were a bit geeky or a bit nerdy, and that was for the cool kids. I'm telling you now, fuck all that. Find out when there's a day rave near you, because they're all over the UK on Saturdays, 1 until 9 o'clock. Go to at least one. Lean towards whichever music might be your preference, house music or trance or dance or whichever. But you will have a good time. And you listen, I never thought I would make so many new friends at the age of 50. I've probably made over I know at least 200 people on the rave scene to say hello to by name. Another 50 of them have become, friends of mine. I said another 25 close friends. So, and then since I brought this book out, which is the story of how I went back to dancing for mental health, every time I go out now, there's 3 or 4 people that come up to me that tell me they've read this book. And I thought people would find the book boring. So there you go. Dancing is really good for your mental health. It's good for your exercise. I've lost 2 stone in 6 months last year. So, and it's, yeah, but you know what, mate? About 50% of the people that go now, you've got to remember, day raves are for the older crowd. And a lot of those people are either have never done any drugs and they don't want to start now, or they have done all of that when they were younger and now they're sober. I would say to you that probably about 60% of the crowd are sober now. So it's not everybody off their face. It's those that's a different time. Anyway, there you go. So didn't think we were going to talk about that today. Mauler's coming with me raving. That's also very important. Mauler's coming raving with me next year. All right. Are you back from the loo? No, he's still muted, so he may have committed to a number 2. We'll keep going. Let me look at some of the comments in the chat here.
Hello.
Oh, you're back. Okay. We were just talking about raving and so on and so on. By the way, the other thing as well, guys, is that some of these events are for people 38 years of age and over. I'm just explaining to chat how if they haven't been out dancing at least once, they should. Very good for them. Mental health. So maybe we'll organise a big YouTubers rave, Mauler. What do you reckon?
Sure. Why not? We'll see who can get out there. See what they get up to.
Mauler will come on stage dancing with his mask on. So,
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good recommendation, Mauler, actually, from Spiegel 1306. I've done a review of Mr. In Between on my channel. That is absolutely, for anybody watching that hasn't seen it, you want a good new TV show, Mr. In Between. It's half-an-hour episodes. It's a comedy drama about a hitman who's also a single dad. It's Australian. It's one of the best Australian drama series ever made. It's really, really good. I give it 9 out of 10 the whole way through, and I've seen the whole thing, start to finish. Have you seen it, Mauler?
I have not, but I've had it recommended to me a few times.
You've now had it recommended by me, which means you must watch it at least by the end of 2026. So when we come back and do this stream this time next year, I'll check in with you to see if you've seen it.
I see. All right.
It is one of the best. So when you're quite, was it always straight away when you did YouTube, I'm not showing my face? Was that a conscious thing?
So, well, I had already when I was doing like streaming games on Twitch. That was again part of the like 30-minute answer to the whole trying to make it work online sort of thing. But when it came to YouTube, I really wanted to have people focus. I didn't want to do like a vlog style breakdown of movies. I wanted to do visuals that were relevant or visuals that didn't necessarily distract. So at first I thought gameplay, where I talked about more expository stuff. And then the more time went on, I wanted visuals for like everything I was talking about that were applied to what I was saying. So people focus on the arguments and that sort of thing. And then, it's just like an aesthetic thing that I kind of enjoy, streaming and videos. There's nothing I have to worry about on the front of like, I don't know, good lighting, good setup, good composition on like the camera and everything in the room sort of thing. Instead, I can just focus on everything in the editing software for what I'm showing that relates to the movie or whatever have you.
Mm. Yeah.
Also, I like, you know, and this applies, I think, to Fringy, Rags, and I assume Platoon. I haven't really asked him about it, but like, I kind of enjoy the sort of character aspect, you know, all the long man stuff, and it's just like a fun sort of element of creating things online as an avatar.
Yeah, I mean, like, Little Platoon has, you and him have both got the driest kind of, the best voices for dry sarcasm and very dry humor. And
Well, thank you.
you have, your voices naturally lend them to razor sharp commentary. You've got the perfect voices for this kind of stuff, and it is funny with Little Platoon's avatar, and he's there in his smoking jacket and all the rest of it. And when you're listening to him, you actually picture him watching the movie like that and kind of making notes, and he's got a glass of whiskey, and you know, I'd be very disappointed if I ever went to his house and there wasn't like a sort of chestnut oak, you know, leather armchair and, and wooden paneling in a dark room somewhere with all these books and stuff like that. But yeah, but I know what Mauler looks like, so you know. And I mean, I can only look at somebody so sexy for so long, so you know. Otherwise, you're right. You don't want to distract the focus.
Exactly.
You know, with those good looks, it's important to keep people focused. The script writing aspects of people that do YouTube videos at the length that you do, analysis, that is something that's always interested me, because your use of language, and my actors said this when we were working on our film together, of which Mauler wrote the script, for those people that don't already know that, which I'm sure is very few. You know, your use of language and is incredible. Your grammar, the way you make words flow, and so on. And I mean, one of the things that I really enjoyed about listening to your Outlaws review, which we'll come on to in a minute, is the use of prose and grammar and just words, and apart from it being incredibly funny and insightful, it's mastery of the English language. I mean,
it's really kind of you to say, honestly.
No, but I mean, I've been a writer full time since the 90s, and you have a much better grasp of the English language than I do in the way you articulate certain things. I think it takes me a lot longer to get there. I mean, I can write incredibly fast. My imagination is my strongest quiver in my, you know, with my bow and arrow, so to speak. But yeah, you really have a craft there. I'm very impressed, and that's one of the things, and I'm sure people that are watching will agree, that's one of the things that makes watching your videos so enjoyable. And you're also, yeah, you hold IPs and product up to very high standards, which we should, because these people are getting paid huge sums of money to fuck up these things for us. And your criticism is always very insightful, and it's not. You use this word. See, now I'm losing my words, but you use this word a lot when you were talking about the Outlaw review. You said that the game design often came across as bitter,
right?
And you don't come across as bitter when you're doing your reviews and you're breaking things down. You come across as someone who understands the dramatic narrative, who understands pace and story beats and character development and character arcs and, you know, realistic dialogue, and when to make things funny and when to bring in the humor and when to pull it back. You understand all the building blocks that make a good script or a story. These are not skills that are available to everybody. Not everybody grasps those fundamentals to the degree that you do. And that's why I think your criticism is not only so interesting to listen to, but it's also very valid as well. So sorry, that was, I waffled a bit there, but with that,
I mean, thank you.
That laid out,
like I said.
Do you sit down and I mean, did you sit down and write out the whole script for Outlaws before you? Because that's a huge script. I mean, that must have been, if you did, that must have been pages, because it sounds scripted.
There's a video on the Mauler channel. It's like an hour something supercut of me talking about how I made that video. If anyone wants the deep dive, I'll say here.
There's a making of as well.
Well, it's me rambling into a microphone drunk, but I do explain basically everything to do with how it was made. But so the shorter version would be that, yes, it is entirely scripted and redrafted. It took a very long time to do every single process. And it's Joe Danger, edited by Joe Danger. Legend in the chat. There he is. He's got plenty of super cuts on Mauler right now that you can check out whenever you want, fellas. So yeah, like the way it starts is just, I assume, as everybody does, when you're watching a thing or playing a thing or doing the thing, there's just stuff that happens that pisses you off or impresses you and makes you, there's colors and noises, and it makes your brain have thoughts. And that's literally where it starts. Something happens, someone says a thing, something happens, or you press a button, something, and I write down a note. It's just as simple as, I don't think I like this happening, or I think I do like this happening. And then I collect them all up, categorize them into subjects, and then try to sort them into like some form of a story being told throughout the video. And once they're all ordered, I'll then write the script and incorporate all of the notes as they come, along with references, right? Timestamps or clips and sources. And then once that's all done, redraft, possibly redraft again. I did struggle to redraft this one because 17.5 hours of script is a tough thing to casually redraft, if you know what I mean. Especially because I obviously want to change certain things, so I end up going through extremely slowly, and it's like I can't cost myself another X amount of time getting through this when I need other processes to begin. And so I script pretty much everything if it's a prepared video. Obviously not streams, but at the same time, it's just I feel like I get to better represent what point, because I can ramble very badly and I can screw up the point I'm trying to make if it's all just immediate and in real time. But in scripts, I get to control everything and then read it back and be like, oh no, I've it's happened several times where I'll say something, read it, and then I'll be like, oh no, I'm implying something completely wrong. I need to change that to, edge it out. I've talked to Drinker about this. It's like, I'll end up, we could review the same scene. Drinker will hit it with a really incisive, like definitive, this is what's wrong with it, moving on. And I'll be like, this is what's wrong with it. Now, I'm not saying it's this or this or this. I am saying it is this. And it's because this person said this and they did this before, which actually informs them doing this. And then it's like, 10 minutes have gone by and I've done the same thing, what he did in like 10 seconds. So, it ends up creating the video as is. I've had the criticism that it's like he just makes it long on purpose. And it's like, they really are not. The length has never been a requirement. It is just as long as I have stuff to say. And then that's it.
Well, I mean, because to give this a bit of context, and we're going into Outlaws now, which I said I would do in the second hour. So to set this up, Mauler and I were working on pre-production for All in Good Time. Great project. And just to remind people watching, there'll be a screening of that in London on the 22nd of January. So if you're from the UK and you want to come to that, there will be 100 tickets for sale, which will include all kinds of perks and stuff. Put it in the diary, and Drinker will be advertising it on Open Bar, and Mauler also once we've got the link. But yeah, and I can't remember. I remember how this came up. I said to you, "Are you going to come and visit the set?" And you said, "Well, I'm doing this big project," and and I was a bit snobby because it's like, it's a YouTube, I said, well, what do you mean? Are you working on another film? No, I'm doing this YouTube video. Okay. My kind of psyche of YouTube videos is they take about a week or two to turn around. Right. And I'm like, yeah, but I mean, that's a YouTube video. You can come to the set. No, this is a big secret project. And I think it took a while for me to get it out of you that it was actually a YouTube video. I think initially you just told me it's a secret project. And I was like, what is this? Anyway, after much arm twisting, we're talking weeks later, finally on a late night call when we were talking about the edit, I think, you finally told me what Star Wars Outlaws. And then I sort of, I vaguely remember that game. What happened to that game? I remember there was a big furore about it coming out. I'm a big fan of Fallout Las Vegas, and I thought Star Wars open world, that sounds kind of cool. And then I sort of just didn't hear anything, Plus, I didn't have a lot of time for video games. And then it's like, yeah, okay, so my project is nearly ready. It's a 17-hour video of a breakdown. And I was like, what? Sorry, say that again, 17 hours?
Yeah.
I was like, what? How did that work? 17 hours? It's like, yeah, it's a special project I've been doing a long time. I was like, yeah, okay. And I thought, I don't know what I thought, but now I've watched it, it's completely valid. I think this is historic, actually. I mean, I'm surprised that the press haven't picked up on it, and you haven't had press from whichever sector, games, design, or whatever. I mean, have you? Obviously, I've seen the response to the video, and the response to the video has been amazing. It's going to hit 1 million views before the end of 2025, without a doubt, in my opinion. Have you had people reach out from the gaming industry in the same way that how Wil and I initially met, which was before he kind of went super big, was after the Ghostbusters video? I wrote to him in private and I said, I'm working in the film industry. You and I think alike, and I can see you're going to say a lot of things that I can't. We should talk. And I kind of became an inside man for him with a lot of sources and information about things that were going on. Have you had a similar thing happen with this at all? Because you have done other videos, but nothing like this.
No contact from any kind of official interest from devs of any kind, I don't think. I might have had an email here and there that I may have missed, sort of thing, of people who are interested in maybe my opinion on something they're working on, which obviously fair and valid. It's just I don't have quite the time to be able to do something like that. But I doubt any industry journalist or developer would want to get anywhere near someone like me. It's way too noxious, you know, that sort of thing.
I mean, what about someone from, because, gaming there's also a body of criticism. There's game reviewers.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously I'm aware that most of them are they've probably been poisoned from the fruit of the tree. So it's, here's a free game and all of that. And I'm going to talk about them in a minute because we're going to watch a clip of Outlaws, of your Outlaws, not a clip of the game. We're going to watch a clip of your review, which is far more interesting. But I mean, this is very important what you've done. And for me, right, if I was the chairman of Ubi-Soft, right, and it's now widely accepted that the game did not perform well. It didn't hit the sales targets. In fact, it lost a lot of money, and it had a budget of £300 million. Oh my God. I found that out. I could not believe it. And the premise of the game, for anyone that doesn't know, is supposedly you get to play this cool outlaw working for kind of crime syndicates in the Star Wars universe. So far so good. But then they stripped it completely of all the things that you would have wanted. Fallout Las Vegas, you get to decide whether or not you get a companion as the game goes along. You can do the thing on your own, or you get several options of several different companions. The dog, Boone in the dinosaur thing, and I think there's the mutant guy that's the great companion that's also in the TV series. But you get to decide those things, and none of those things are forced upon you, and you can go where you want, and you can do that stuff alone. Star Wars Outlaws, you're going to get this really annoying creature that you're going to have it whether you want it or not, and it's clearly a marketing. It's like a mini Grogu dragon marketing tool, and even though you're an outlaw, you can't steal from any civilians. You can only steal from people that the game deems are bad, not that you deem are bad, and you can only fire one type of gun. And you can't fire from a moving vehicle, and you can't ride any other vehicles apart from your own. All of this is just, I've started making notes about the key things that just would have annoyed me it's
unbelievable, unimaginable that you'd want to release an open world Star Wars game and you get one vehicle, one ship, one main gun. You can pick up a rifle and shoot it, but it's not the same as like being able to customize everything you have, And you can only play as the one character, and you have the one companion. Everything is railed to shit. You can't go off it at all. And that's the thing. All of these elements maybe could work if they were really well done, like the best character ever, the best vehicle ever, the best gun ever. But no, they're all unfinished. They're all terrible. They're all generic. They're all wonky. So it's just possibly the worst thing ever,
Yeah, I mean, I'm barely scratching the surface, because we could elaborate further by saying yeah, you know, and then you've got the combat system, which is completely shit, and so on and so on and so on. So I want to show a quick clip if I can, to see if I can get it so that it will play the actual bloody audio. I'll have to wait. Hang on, let me close a few windows here. I've got too many things open. But there's a question in the chat which I thought was quite a good one. So let me put that to you while I fiddle around with the technicals here.
Yeah, sure.
Bananas, is that the name? Not sure. Outcast Creative, could you ask Mauler's approach with scripts for his videos changes between his formats and critiques like TFA versus his more rant videos like Outlaws? His writing is an inspiration. So I guess the question is asking about what defines your different approaches.
The difference between the two they've chosen there are genuinely going to be, for lack of more appropriate terms, perhaps, the difference between how much objective and subjective I want to change on the scale. So TFA, I try to be as objective as possible, as in talking specifically about what is here, what is incoherent with something else, and what information I can use to sort of illustrate how things became what they were and how they're different from what they were before and what they could have been, versus something like a rant where I'm going to involve a lot more insults, a lot more my personal feelings on how things have turned out and why I'm particularly pissed off, maybe personally. I say this, even though in TFA I definitely get somewhat to an emotional state in terms of what damage they've done and how much it's unforgivable. But that would, you know, on that front, that informs how it's written. To an extent, the TFA and Outlaws ones are actually similar in terms of how they were written and how I structured everything. It was very laid out ahead of time. I knew exactly what things I needed to check as sources, how I was going to categorize them, how I was going to turn it into a script. And it took a very, very long time for both of them. The comparison would then be made to something like an Unbridled Rage type video on, if we take, for example, Jurassic World back in 2018, I think that was. It's I watch the film, I write notes chronologically, and then I write the script, redraft, go. The main source is going to be the film. I might check out some, interviews or additional promotional stuff while I'm editing, and it might make it into the video. But with the big breakdowns, I want to get as many sources as possible. With the faster ones, I'm mainly focusing on the film itself.
Right. Okay. I hope that answers your question. Let me. So, I mean, in terms of you, when did you? Obviously, that game got quite a big PR push behind it, and I mean, look, a Star Wars open world game. If it had been good and everyone was raving about it, I would have been all over it.
Yeah, same.
Probably would have, like Fallout Las Vegas, or I keep calling it that. It's not. That's not the correct title. It's New Vegas, isn't it? Fallout New Vegas. Yeah, that robbed me of like 3 months of my life. Fortunately,
It'll do that. Yeah.
Fortunately, I was grieving the death of my parents at the time, so it was actually the best time for that to happen because it just took me in another world. It was really helpful in that regard, and that's probably what I needed. But if I was in the middle of a feature film production or on a script deadline, that would not have been helpful time for me to disappear for 3 months into a computer game. But I don't think anybody's. One of the things that was very evident to me was that the people that were talking about the game and bigging it up clearly hadn't played it for very long.
Right. Yes. 100%. A lot of it's really unfortunate because I think I mentioned it in the video, but like the most complicated sort of systems they introduce are within the first few hours, and you don't really see them again. And it's because they know this. They know that people pick it up to review. They know they'll do it for a few hours. A lot of TV shows do this. Unfortunately, their first few episodes are a lot better than their latter because they're like, it's fine if we focus on getting strong story, more effort with pacing, better performances, blah blah blah, earlier on. Then we'll get the stronger reviews, and we can, as long as it's front loaded. Because a lot of reviewers these days, unfortunately, I'm not exactly sure what your perspective is on this, but for me, it's one of the things that started my channel as well. I kind of hate the insane lack of integrity. It's it's just rampant.
It's a big problem,
and it sucks that there's not more value for that aspect of character. And we all know why. I even would go as far as saying I understand why. It's just it's really sad because if you truly love the medium, you love its history, and you love where it can go, I don't understand how you could celebrate this game. We have a few jokes and there's a few prods in this video about how it's like you should play more games if you think Outlaws is a good open world. But the fact is, I already know a lot of these guys have played way better games. I don't know what's happening in their heads to think you can celebrate this when it's absolute dog shit. And some of them played an even worse version than the one that got released that you see in the video that I'm covering.
Yeah, even less finished because it had a ton of patches. Let's have a quick listen to a little portion. I'm going to run this for about 2 or 3 minutes here just to get a sense of Mauler's analysis. And I also want to ask you about this man in the shirt who appears in your video a number of times. And it just keeps waxing praise on different aspects of the game, which are in fact total dog bollocks. But let's see.
Bring to life a highly stylized fictional set of worlds that remind me why I liked the open world format in the first place. It's not the same thing we've seen 100 times before, and the open world format is used purposefully here to let you feel what it would be like to live in the Star Wars universe.
The open world format is obviously used with careless, hollow McFuckery here to prevent us from ever knowing what it would feel like to live in the Star Wars universe. More on that in a bit. For now, we must discuss syndicates and reputation, an all-new system designed to impress and distract while encouraging the notion that this game is absolutely filled with mechanical depth appropriate for the experience it promises.
The beauty of these locations, how thriving and bustling they feel, how much they reward you interfacing with them, how well metered the open world activities are, how smart and engaging the expert system is, and how impactful the reputation system is, all give you the distinct impression that Ubimassive were not only trying to deliver the biggest and most beautiful Star Wars game ever made, they were also trying to respond to much of the criticism we throw at Ubisoft about how they design open world games. By and large, Massive were successful on both counts. Star Wars Outlaws is a game that is incredible to look at, but it will also make you ask, what's over there? And it will reward your curiosity if you choose to find out.
Yeah. We'll see about that. The system from the core is a series of 4 progress bars that relate to a respective syndicate and their perception of you. Syndicates are found in several locations throughout the game. The degree to which the bar is filled will determine specific forms of access, equipment availability, and mission opportunity. However, first and foremost, the Zerek Besh, the Rebels, and the Empire are not available to join as syndicates or factions, and that's retarded. Just imagine a loss of potential with all of those options out of play. Perhaps with enough work done, you could convince Slero to let you join the Zerek Besh. Perhaps as an Imperial, you could have enforced power on the syndicates that leads to leveraging them against each other. Perhaps you could be working for one faction, playing them against another with sensitive intel, only to be working for a third the whole time, being the Rebels. Working for the Empire could be the equivalent of hard mode, where all avenues are more consistently blocked off. With the connection the Zerek Besh have with the Empire, the interplay could be incredible. Perhaps the Rebels have the most difficult gameplay and the Empire end up being the smoothest to align yourself with, though a counterbalance could be the limitation of particular meaningful missions, complicated contracts, and opportunities for unlockable abilities and equipment that actually make a difference. Just imagine a big set of multiple interesting endings reflecting your choices throughout the game. Imagine the system wasn't paper-thin, exploitable, soulless, pathetic, meaningless, and to refer to it as an alpha would insult the concept.
Speaking of the syndicates themselves, I've got to talk about the reputation system. It's great.
I picked that clip deliberately because I wanted to make a point here. If I was one of the heads of Ubi-Soft or the guy that commissioned this thing, and actually they only produced it, was the massive something or other in Sweden is the company that made this Dogma. But if I was the top guy and I was watching that, somebody showed me that clip, straight away I'd be like, why isn't this guy on the design team for our next game? I'd be on the phone to you like straight away. I mean, like, you understand, you can just tell from that clip alone, you understand what would have made this game interesting or what the options should have been. They absolutely should have been able to outlaws or mercenaries or whatever, you want to call them, people on the fringes of societies, like that. The whole scene one of the best scenes in Empire is when we see all the bounty hunters lined up bounty hunters. I don't like their scum, but Unless they get called in to do the dirty work, and you want the option of playing one of them. Imagine if this game gave you the option of playing that girl, but also IG-88 and Bosk and all the other.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
All the cool figures that I always wanted. I always wanted the bounty hunter figures. That would Dengar was another one, wasn't he? Dengar.
Yeah.
That would be great if you could play all of them. And they will have slightly different personas and allegiances, and some of them will do better than with certain crime syndicates because of their history. If you read through it before you choose, and I don't know, there's a whole well of stuff there that could have been accessed that wasn't. So, what was the catalyst for you saying, okay, these guys have done a great evil unto the world, so I feel to recompense the balance of the universe and the dark side of the force, I must do a 17-hour breakdown video of everything they did wrong?
Well, first thing I just wanted to say, like, anything I suggested there, that's I think even pretty straightforward, pretty basic. Like playing for the Empire, for the rebels, against the syndicates, playing the syndicates against each other. These are all things I think that everyone would have expected was in the game. It was shocking for a lot of people. It was like, wait, we can't choose to play with the Empire or the rebels? That's insane. Yeah. And of course, there's no way that the creators of the game never entertained that as a possibility. They are adult humans. They've played games before. They're in the industry. The Supermassive Games did the Division games, which from what I've heard, I haven't played them, are pretty solid. So it's like, all right, they know what games are. They played them.
I played one. It was okay.
Yeah, so I think, there's other stuff going on, budget restraints or time restraints, or just a change in philosophy of design, whatever. I'm sure anything I suggested, there is something they all knew about or whatever, but it's a real fucking shame that it's not in there. Now, why I chose to make the video, you can watch it happen in real time. It's the first stream I have on Outlaws. I had no intention of making anything close to a video on that game. But I'm playing it just to see what it's like, and gradually I'm realizing that every aspect of what they tried to achieve in the game was either broken or kind of fascinating to discuss in terms of what games are supposed to be or what they're supposed to do or what they tried to do and then what they ended up with. And then, of course, it starts to trigger me in a sense of like, I hate that we're in an industry where they can sell broken, unfinished products to people and then they can make them celebrate it because they did an update, for example, where you don't fall through the floor anymore. Like you should be happy that you're not falling through the floor anymore. Is absolutely insane to me.
That's something that should have been fundamentally included from the get-go. I would.
Well, you say you're 11 hours in, right? So when you get to hour 16, you'll see there are reviewers that celebrate that you can now hold on to your gun after an update. It doesn't just fall out of your hands, which is absolutely insane to me. That the context and tone of that update should be, it's about fucking time. What the hell is wrong with you? How have you not? And the way to get it across to people, I think, is to relate it to food. So you have like a full on like roast dinner at like the Toby Carvery or whatever, right? And I realize as Americans, so I'm sure they're following, and they provide you like a teacup as that's what they put the meal in. And you're like, well, the meal was probably good, but I couldn't eat it. It's just nonsense. It's stuffed into it. Like, what is this? And then, after you go there 20 times, they finally give you a small plate that not all of it can fit onto. And you're just like, I'm not going to give you a good review for this. This is insane. And it's like, no, come on. We've improved dramatically. We've given you so much. So there's that aspect. There's the they get everything wrong aspect. And then, of course, just I wanted to talk about a video game. It's been a long time. It's how my channel kind of started. And I talked about movies for a long time. I was like, this is a good chance for me to just stretch my legs a bit and talk about games. I really like games, and I've played a bunch recently, well, over the time that I've been talking about movies. So it ticked enough boxes in a row. And then, of course, seeing viral clips of things going wrong, knowing my friends were playing it, I was like, I can make a fun video where I make points and then support it with clips that have nothing to do with my playthrough. If you know, which I think is much more convincing when you see a problem lined out by me, but then someone's candidly experiencing it that has nothing to do with me.
It's one of the fun aspects of your video is it's very generous of your friends to kind of lend their clips to you. You've got clips of your gang all with their mutual kind of, what the fuck's happening? And I've found Fringy, who's he's another YouTuber who's got a great voice, very unique sounding voice. And you know, every time his clips come on, it always makes me laugh. I do like the guy. He's like, what, what's going? I can't do. I tried to impersonate his voice earlier, and I can't do it. It's so unique. I thought I'd try and nail it and do it on here, but yeah, but it's just like, what's happening? What's happening? You know, it's just really basic things that they couldn't get right. I've had a few more super chats coming in. Let me get these. If these super chats keep up, Lance is going to have Mauler on daily. I mean, you know, I could probably fit an hour for him every day if he's up for it. I am Rosso, £5. Thank you so much for these, by the way. I recently enjoyed your dissection of Soma. What does that stand for?
Well, it doesn't stand for anything. It's it's the I think it's the Greek word for body.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like Sons of Massive Anarchy or something.
No.
And Nisa Mauler, have you ever played I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream? That sounds like an interesting game that someone would play in a very strange room.
It's I'm very aware of it, and I know it's foundational for a lot of like the inspiration for a lot of stuff I enjoy. I have not yet like read it because it's based on a book, right? And then there's a game for it as well, but I haven't played it either.
Is Soma a TV show?
It's a video game.
Oh, video game. Okay.
It is. I stand by probably it's my favorite story ever told in a video game.
Jacob Kaza. Hey, Mauler, have you seen Transformers 1? It's pretty good. A Pixar-like origin film. Terrible marketing made it flop, but it's worth a watch. Oh, yeah, I saw that. It was all right. It was one of the better.
I was 50-50 on it. I didn't like a lot of stuff, but I did like a lot of stuff as well. So
yeah, there was some good things in it as opposed to Transformers 2, which had nothing good in it. Reps 912 for $5. You have CEO of Ubi-Soft right in front of you, and he has enough time to watch 3 segments from your video. Which three would you show him? Well, I'd definitely show him that one. Oh, mate, there's so many good moments. That would be hard to.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I guess I probably want to pick the most. I probably want to show him the section on how the game was marketed and basically how it was lied about, and that this needs to not happen if you want any chance of your game having success.
Yeah, I mean, on that subject, funnily enough, I was thinking, because quite a few people would have been, basically people were sold a faulty bill of goods. And I don't know what the laws are in America, but the law here is that if your product is not fit for purpose, you're entitled to a full refund. And I think anyone that went into a court of law and argued that this, especially if you were called as one of the witnesses, was not fit for purpose, you know, you would win that argument. And I thought, that's quite an interesting idea for a class action lawsuit, isn't it?
I mean, it's unbelievable. The gaming industry has gotten away with this many times. It feels like it's just something that people aren't as familiar or prepared for in a law way to stop or prosecute. But, you know, Steam, if you bought it on Steam, would probably facilitate a refund if you pushed them for it, especially if you could cite it doesn't fucking work, which would be fair. You know, I've got a clip in there. Star Wars Theory asks for a refund after the final time it freezes. He has enough. You know, it's
did he get one?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask him. You know, it's just insane. He wasn't the only one as well. A lot of people, you'll get to this part in the video, but people who played it pre-ordering, right? So paying more earlier to get it. There was a day 1 patch or day 2 even, but it basically meant they put out like a thing saying, hey, we fixed it now so you don't fall through the floor as much. However, you need to restart your save. You can't continue the one you had. So if you picture right, there's people out there who now have between 5 and 10 hours in an open world game, and the developers are like, sorry, you need to go back to square one because the game's been updated, so it looks better now. You know, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, just don't release these things before they're ready, because it's a bit like, I mean, even with our short film, we spotted one glitch. I'm not going to say what it is, that we all missed, and there was a lot of eyes on it before, because obviously the people that funded it have seen it. We had like an online screening. We're able to correct that before we show it in the cinema. The editors are going to go back in and do it. But we had a lot of eyes on it, correcting things, and we did a lot of, I think we probably went through about 12 or 14 drafts of the edit to shape things and correct things and all the rest of it. So I'm not going to pretend I'm au fait with games design. I do have a couple of friends that work in it. It's their full-time job. But it seems to me that open world gaming is also, and that's the topic I want to talk about next. It should be one of the most popular gaming areas, because we're now moving into the technology of oh God, what was the Steven Spielberg film called that's based on the book?
Ready Player One.
We're now moving into Ready Player One technology. We get, lots of people have got VR headsets. We're getting more open world games. The AI is getting very sophisticated. I mean, pretty soon, for a filmmaker, for me, although this is a double-edged sword, it's a very exciting time, because I know in 2 years' time, maybe 2 or 3, 5 at the most, the technology will be there for me on my computer for me to make all of the films that I've written scripts for, and I've got over 50 minimum. I'll be able to create those films myself without having to go anywhere to try and find the money. I'll be able to create them in AI. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not how I want to make movies. I don't want to make movies that way. I want to make them the old school way, with actors and a set and real sets and real pyrotechnics and all the rest of it. But if the gatekeepers that have their hands on the money to give me the budget to make those films are going to constantly keep saying no to me, then eventually I will turn around and I'll find another way to get them made. And AI is the next thing that's coming over the hill. So I'd better learn how to use it pretty soon, because I want to be one of the first filmmakers out of the gate to fully utilize that. Again, I'll stress this before anyone comes at me. It's not my preference. I would much rather make films the old way. But, so it's changing. So one of the things that I found really befuddling, if that's a word, watching your review, is how can an open world game, when I played Fallout New Vegas, whatever it is, part 3, that came out in 2010. That was an amazing game with really great sort of open world stuff, and it really was open world. And yeah, you had to get more powerful before you could get past certain bits, but all the storyline and the different factions, and you didn't have to go the same way, and it wasn't linear. It had linear bits, but it wasn't linear. That was made in 2010. That's 15 years ago. How is it that game is still better than Outlaws now? It has better AI, it has a better story, it has a better combat system. You have more things you can do. You can drive different vehicles. You can have all these different. How is it that they've made such a turd when they have all this modern technology before them, and they had a £300 million budget, and it's also set in one of the best IP universes on the planet? How did they get that so wrong? Was there did you have any sort of inside information on sort of deadlines and pressure to get it out by a certain date, stuff like that?
Well, so what's interesting about it all is that, in a broad sense, right, that's how people feel about the gaming industry, but like more so as a whole. Outlaws is one example that I think really illustrates a huge problem, but there've been countless. I don't know if you've heard of them, but there's stuff like Forspoken or Dragon Age: The Veilguard, or chat will start listing all of the most famous examples of games that are just horrific when they release and get forgotten by time, despite enormous budgets and huge production timelines. It's only extreme exceptions, where you get a game that comes out for that sort of thing and gets fixed to the point of being a great game up to date. The ones that I'm aware of would be something like No Man's Sky, or, from what I'm told, Cyberpunk 2077 compared to when it released. So the question is a reflection, I would argue, of similarly the film industry. People could be like, how is it that they have more money than ever, the better understanding of technology than ever, and they're creating films that are just so much worse? You've got similar rot in both industries, an attempt and a super interest in just making money based on like squeezing IPs and flanderizing the shit out of them, trying to find any way to nickel and dime audiences and then skip over processes that they think aren't important anymore, like planning or scripting, or in the game's case, considering they are a medium of interaction. You would think, because I get what you're saying, a lot of people might have said in response to you that they're tired of open world, but of course the reality is they probably wouldn't be if it was an amazing game. It's we've had so many bad ones that people get put off. I mean, the new Metroid Prime has like elements of what you could call open world, in the sense that it's a huge world and it's fucking empty. You know, I wouldn't call it that necessarily. It's just more of a form of criticism, and that's what a lot of people feel with a lot of games that are coming out that are considered open world, is that they are empty, they are useless, they don't feel like you're in a world, they just feel like they're really big and time consuming, so that they can claim the name. So you know, I can't know for sure based on any information, because I don't have any insiders in Ubisoft. You know, it's not that popular, but at the same time, you can see from the interviews, the way people discuss it, the way people break it down, that something's obviously gone horrifically wrong. And the impression I got from the creators is that this was a hired gun situation. They were to get the project done and move on. They were already like in talks about Division 3 as they were wrapping up Star Wars Outlaws' production line, when it was nowhere near finished. And they knew that. They know all this stuff. The idea that like Star Wars' Outlaws' biggest update came like a year after it, and that's what people started talking about. It's like, oh, it's finally fixed, when it still had countless problems. So imagine what the devs knew, you know, prior to release. Imagine how bad it looked, and they were like, fuck. Like, how do we get this so that we can at least make it look like it's done when it comes out? And like I said, even still on the first few days of release, people were crashing and losing save files and falling through the floor. So, like I said, to me, it was a quintessential example of the complete collapse of the industry, which is, you know, a lot of people still think is on its way in terms of like a bubble that's going to pop. We'll see how it goes on that front. It's just that an explanation, it's about as long and short as it would be to explain the same for the film industry. And of course, I'm sure you've fielded that as a question before as well.
Certainly have. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. And look, in an ideal world, the right talented people would get promoted, and the right talented people would be behind these projects. And sometimes you get a dream team where everything works. And the case in point would be the film project we worked on together, where the biggest problem we had was not a big problem during the shoot, and it was properly planned, and I brought in all my best people. And yeah, I mean, we finished half a day early and under budget, which I was very happy about. As was Drinker, obviously, because he was producing. So I think some of that leftover money will be going towards the bar at the film screening on the 22nd of January. That's how you're going to be getting your free drinks, because I brought the film in half a day early. So don't forget that if you're there. Mine's a Prosecco. But yeah, I mean, I Googled, and obviously you've got to take anything on Google these days with a complete pinch of salt, but I Googled, you know, what are the best open world games? Because I'd quite like to find a new one to play. And I'm not massively keen on games with magic in fantasy. I like fantasy, don't get me wrong. I'd do a medieval kind of open world one with minimum magic, very minimal magic, but usually if there's swords in it, there's usually sorcery as well. Well, I am a big fan of the movie Sword and the Sorcerer, for anyone watching who remembers that. So I got this list. It's from a site called gamesradar.com. Do you know that website? I'm
familiar, yeah, somewhat.
Okay, so we're going to go through these quickly, and I just want to know hit or miss or undecided, and chat, feel free to join in. Right. So we've got Dragon's Dogma 2, hit or miss.
We'll have to see from chat on that one. I haven't played Dragon's Dogma 2.
Okay, you haven't played. All right. So, guys, if you played Dragon's Dogma 2, just put DD and put either hit or miss next to it. So now this one is a bit, I mean, it's kind of cute with the old style graphics and whatnot, but Terraria, but I read it and I just thought, yeah, that's not for me. So we can move on.
Wow. I love Terraria. I thought it was awesome. It's like 2D Minecraft, basically.
Yeah, it's a 2D Minecraft game, but that's not what I'm looking for with an open world game.
Right. Yeah, fair.
Dragon Age Inquisition.
I hear it's very, very good. Dragon Age has got a pretty good reputation up until a certain point. Obviously, I mentioned Veilguard earlier. That game was horrendous.
Yeah, because that one definitely appeals to me without a doubt. And then we got Minecraft again, which I'll now. I
mean, phenomenally successful as an open world game with Minecraft, but I know what you mean. You're not as interested. All right, fair.
Fallout 4 I own, and I started playing it And then whatever film project I was working on either fell through or something massive happened in my life. And suddenly I thought, I don't have time to play video games right now. So it's still largely unplayed. But when it came out, there was a lot of people saying it wasn't as good as Fallout 3. It had issues, etc., etc. Then the furore died down, and I didn't hear more. I mean, did you play it? What did you think? Chat. What did you think?
I played Fallout 3 fully, like start to finish, and I enjoyed it a whole bunch. But I'm not sure how I would rate it overall. But Fallout 4, I've heard, is just categorically worse in most ways. So, not one to opt for necessarily.
Okay, all right, fair enough. If anyone says hit or miss for Fallout 4 in the chat, please let me know if you're a fan or not a fan, because I'm looking for advice here.
I mean, you're on. You'd mentioned it, but New Vegas tends to be considered a slaughterer of the other Fallouts, and not necessarily 1 and 2 though.
Right. I mean, I really liked New Vegas. Not least because I found this really cool, I think it was a Gauls rifle or some kind of really cool rifle. It was located in like a damaged ship on the far edge of the map, and it was guided by shitloads of like those flying little robot Mr. Handy things. It took me ages to kill them all and get into the wreckage of the ship. Found this really cool rifle. By then I was a crack shot because my early weapon was like a customized Winchester with a telescope or something. So I just got better and better at doing the sniping. This thing, I could take a creature's head off from like miles away with it. It was great. Yeah. And of course it replays those kind of hits in slow motion. And I had a lot of fun with that. Far Cry 6. What do we think about this one?
I don't think that has a super strong reputation. It's the Esposito one. Yeah, I think a lot of people think that's pretty bad. But, earlier Far Cry's have a much better reputation. I played a whole bunch of Far Cry 2. It was quite fun. But yeah, different reactions, different entries. Oh, Halo Infinite, Jesus.
Oh, yeah. No. Move on.
It's an interesting list they got here. Days Gone. I heard a lot of good things about Days Gone. A lot of people enjoyed it.
I like the sound of that. It sounds like a Walking Dead, basically. Open world Walking Dead.
Somewhat,
yeah. I mean, that definitely appeals to me. Because I'm a big fan of the Walking Dead graphic novels. I like some of the TV stuff, some of it not so much. But there's now Starfield was the one that everybody isn't Starfield the one that Raz had his meltdown.
Raz?
Ads.
Yeah, yes. That is the one enduring cultural imprint that Starfield has, is Az's rant on it.
I remember seeing it like live, and I was like, and actually, my ex-partner was in the flat, and she heard him screaming out the TV, and she came running in, and she said, "That man's going to have a heart attack."
Well, he didn't like Starfield. Just put it that way,
I heard a lot of people didn't like it. That's definitely not on my. That's not on my short list. No Man's Sky.
As far as I'm aware now, it's considered like excellent. So this game, I don't know if you know, it came out extremely broken, buggy, and failing on all of its promises, and it was extremely controversial. But the Hello Games knuckled down for a very long time, and they've just done nothing but keep adding updates to it. And at this point, from what I hear now, completely different game, and followed through on basically every promise they'd made now.
Right.
I only hear good things about it.
That's good to hear. And by the way, chat, thank you so much for the support. I'm 78 subscribers away from 6,000. So,
well.
Mauler, you've got me halfway there during the stream. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I thought sounded interesting.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things for the first one. The second one was a bit controversial in certain parts. I'm not sure on the specifics, but I've heard a bunch of people praise it. So as far as I know, it's good stuff.
Okay. So, right. Very good. This one is, I don't know, sort of
I didn't even know that was a... Yeah. I guess.
I'm not into car racing games, so... I don't drive a car in real life. Sea of Thieves I've owned and sold, so we'll move on. Genshin Impact, that's I'm guessing that's a Japanese,
I have not played that.
Based on a Japanese TV animation show or something like that. Yeah, then we got a Marvel Spider-Man. Well, I'm just not interested in superhero games. Now, I used to own Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, and I think there was one before it I owned as well. and they were both good, but there was too much magic and stuff in it, and I'm less interested in the magic. That was one thing I liked about Fallout, was it didn't really have magic. I think there was one person with psionic abilities or something like that. Elden Ring was the other one I did have at one stage.
All right.
Mauler, can you read this out? Do you know how to say that?
Mauler oiti wedi defyddio 17 or so to be clear, I can read these words, but I don't know what they mean. I'm not fluent in Welsh, but you know,
that's all right.
They confuse the shit out of people in terms of how it's pronounced, right? Like Raith or Butti or Minalan Ashlan, I think that is, because the double L is like a almost TH sort of thing. Moyn dimundiado di, sorry, orau flwyddyn newydd dda Nadolig llawen. I don't know what any of it means. I'd have to put it into translation.
Thanks for that, RRTNZ. Don't do it again. Okay, so Ghost of Yoti, again, this is sort of looks like feudal Japan kind of thing going on. Interesting time period. Maybe not for me, but I'm fascinated with that whole era of history. I do love watching all the movies set in there. And I don't know if you've seen because you're really into films. You know what? You and I need to do. We should do. I'll tell you a good stream for us to do in 2026 would be Lance and Mauler discuss Lance's film collection, and I've got them all in DJ cases. And I could go through them and we could discuss which ones you've seen and which ones you haven't, and why you should watch it. And I'll give you a big list.
It's funny. I've seen an insane amount of movies, but I've still got an insane amount to see. You know, like loads of classics and stuff. I'm
tempted to get this, but I don't have a PS4 or a PS5. This is
Drinker will be able to tell you whether or not he's worth recommending that one.
He recommended it. He liked it.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, I remember his recommendation video, and I quite like the look of it. It sort of looked a bit like Avatar, but better. Cyberpunk 2077. I remember a lot of people complaining about this when it came out.
Yes, another game that, as far as I'm aware, it's been fixed since, and it's very different and much stronger now. Okay,
interesting. Anyone in chat, if you played Cyberpunk, that game does quite interest me, so I'd be interested to know what people think of it. Grand Theft Auto is not for me. Legends. I've played them, but again,
fair. If you've given it a shot, because obviously they're kind of that, and Red Dead are considered like some of the quintessential sort of blueprints for good open world.
This is 20 recommended open world games, and of course now I've got the expert here. I'm distilling through the bullshit, and we're ascertaining that might be worth playing.
I wouldn't consider myself an expert. This is a strange list, though. It is like, but it's Games Radar, so
I've also got personal tastes. You know, I'm looking for something that's more action and gun orientated. Maybe I've got Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's great.
Considered top tier. Same for Witcher 3, considered very, 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 very good.
Okay, all right, excellent. So we'll come off of there. Because would you say, going back to cinema?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm conscious of the time, so I won't go on for too much longer. Was the key person in your family your dad, who kind of got you into films and, you know, right, we're watching this and so on?
Absolutely. I think because I'm his first son, so he was very invested in watching sort of movies that obviously my mum was not as interested in, and daughters aren't as interested in. So me growing up, I think he was struggling to wait until he could show me some of his favorite stuff that are more male oriented, I guess you could say. I remember him showing me Predator super early, and I think he thought it was risky in terms of like, what am I going to think? Hopefully I don't get scared. And obviously he had the best possible result, which is I fucking adored it. I thought it was like one of the best things I'd ever seen. And I think he got a lot of enjoyment out of that. Of course, it is a favored memory, right, of him showing me stuff like that. It's the sort of core. The ones I remember very specifically would be T2, Aliens, and Predator. Those films.
I mean, I'm guessing he's. What is your dad in his 60s now? He's probably a bit older than me.
Mid 70s to late.
Oh, okay. So he's up there. So yeah, he would have been able to get into those films legitimately when they came out, as opposed to me being very tall and could therefore blag that I was 18.
Well, I've joked that he spoiled me in the sense that he showed me way too many great films all in a row. And so I started seeing normal films, and I was like, "These are bad. Like this isn't as good as the stuff you showed me before." But it happens.
Foxfile, thanks for the recommendation for Days Gone. I'll definitely check that out, mate. Yeah, because he's from that era. I mean, we were quite. It's funny. Some people look back and say that a lot of rubbish was made in the 80s, and there were some things that were terrible. But if I go to any given year, between probably 1980 to right up to probably I think Lord of the Rings 2001, 2002, 2003, and look at the output of any one of those years, but particularly 1980 to 95, you can compile a list of in any one of those years of probably between certainly 10 of the best films of all time might be in any one of those years, maybe. Depending on it's all personal, it's all subjective, of course. Everybody's into different things, and my list might be very different to someone else's. Yeah, we sort of look between 2017 to 2025. You pick a year between 2025 to 2020, and of course, okay, we had the pandemic, but you're looking in a year and you go, oh yeah, one of the best films ever made. Is there something that qualifies as that in the last? Have we had a film in the last 5 years, let's say post-pandemic, that's come out that's been, wow, that's up there. Now, if you like Quentin Tarantino, some people will say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood would tick that box. I am a big Tarantino fan, not just because I look like him. I'm a big fan of that movie. I could watch 3 sequels to that film with those same guys set 5 years apart each way. It would be great, but I know he won't make them. But has there been a film for you in that 5-year period that's been up there?
Something comes to mind, but it's considered simultaneously a 2019 and 2020 film. It depends on where you consider its release. But The Father with Anthony Hopkins, I consider that basically a masterpiece in terms of its coverage of the topic. I've not seen a film do it better than that. It's a borderline a horror film with how they do it.
That's the one that covers the dementia and which actually was my, that's what happened to my father, and I mean it's awful thing to see.
And I remember there was a controversy that Chadwick Boseman didn't get the Oscar and Anthony Hopkins did, and people were very upset. They thought that it should have gone to Chadwick Boseman, and I hadn't seen The Father, but I remember thinking to myself, no way that Anthony Hopkins has pulled in a performance that I'll think is better than Silence of the Lambs. It's not going to happen. Not to say that that's what that means, but I was like, I'll watch it because he's my favorite actor of all time. So I was like, hell yeah, I'll watch it. And I was floored when I finished that film. I couldn't believe what I'd watched in terms of just like what they'd achieved, and his performance in it is absolutely Oscar worthy. He was incredible in it.
Well, as we're talking about our dad, here's a photograph of mine, and this was taken in Denmark, and this is now. I can't remember if this is just before World War II. Or right after, but you had to serve in, they had national conscription. You had to serve in the army for a year. Thank you very much, Anna. I appreciate that. He was a very handsome guy. I'm adopted, which is why I don't have the look. So there you go. But this is the father I can consider to be my dad. He's the one who, brought me up and all the rest of it. What's really fascinating is that he, right after World War II, he traveled across Europe back in the days when you had to hitchhike. And he decided he wanted to get across the Sahara. And on his travels, he met someone who was joining the French Foreign Legion at one point. So my father decided that, and this guy was part of a convoy that was going to resupply all the French Foreign Legion forts across the Sahara. And my dad had bought a black and white camera off the back of World War II. He was a runner for the Danish resistance in World War II. He smuggled British airmen over to Sweden. and he took photographs of the convoy doing their thing, and these photographs are amazing. You know, they're of a lost time as well, which doesn't exist anymore. And I've got a whole album of these, and I keep saying to Jace that we'll create some kind of script and do a sort of slideshow. But my dad was really good with engines, with trucks, and he said that it was so hot that what they did was they cooked their breakfast on the trucks. So they would just like crack the eggs of the bonnets on the trucks and cook the food there. I did a stream about my dad. It's somewhere on the channel where I think I went through all of these pictures and talked about them. This one might offend any vegetarians, so look away now if you're easily offended. But they with a sniper rifle from a moving vehicle, by the way, not something you can do in Outlaws, in Star Wars Outlaws, that there were goats that were running around the desert. They shot one with a sniper rifle, and then these two guys, this is them, they're killing it before they cut it up to cook to eat. And my dad got a picture of them slitting its throat, which is pretty gross. But
Damn,
he also got a picture of them firing the rifle from the moving vehicle and hitting the goat as it was trying to run away, because they were just wild goats, you know. But yeah, it's funny with I guess, yeah, your dad's, I mean, my dad would have been in his 90s now if he was alive today. Your dad's in his 70s. But our fathers grew up in a different time, and there was no technology that we all take for granted now. And, you know, nowadays you can jump on EasyJet and, you know, probably within a day and a half, you can get a tour of the Sahara. This is how my dad saw it. These pictures, this is of the convoy trucks, and they were using some leftover vehicles of the American forces. He even found a downed bomber in the middle of the desert. I've got a photograph of it with all the crew were dead inside, you know. They're all skeletons, of course, because this would have been 1952, something like that. So there you go. Anyway, I'm going down a bit of a rabbit hole, but it's fascinating stuff. And you could say that your dad was the goat. Yeah, he was my father was a very, very kind man, and you know, it was a huge loss when he passed away. Died choking on a sandwich in the nursing home when he had dementia. And yeah, you know, our fathers my father was very much into films, and he was a huge James Bond fan. And the first kind of 3 films that I saw at the cinema that really influenced me were Star Wars, because I was there in 78. It was released in the UK in 78, America 77. We got it Christmas 78, or Christmas 77 going into 78, sorry. And so I saw Star Wars 7 times. And that same summer, The Spy Who Loved Me came out. And I saw that. And as soon as I got back from seeing The Spy Who Loved Me, I just, for those people that have seen it, I ran straight up to my bedroom, and my mum knew exactly what I was doing. And I built the set of the super tanker, and I got my Germans and my British paratrooper airfix figures out, and I was recreating the fight from the end of the film. And I think that was the moment I knew that I was going to be a film director.
Hell yeah, dude. Because
I wanted to recreate that stuff. So you see your career going forward, you hope to, you know, write more screenplays, write more, you know, move into feature films perhaps. And
I just want to sort of stick to just, I'm very much interested in expressing myself, be it in the form of critique combined with a sort of avenue that can kind of weave a story, and then also writing where possible. But like, if I was on YouTube for the rest of my life, that wouldn't be a problem. If I ended up having more chances to write some stuff, that would be also pretty awesome and cool as well.
Well, I think, listen, I certainly hope to work with you again. One day, I really hope that my World War II TV show will be a reality. And quickly show before we go to people. Pitch deck the original one that we took to Netflix and Amazon is here. And this is a European version of Band of Brothers. And I wrote about, I think there's 12 episodes. I think I've written about 8 of them. And if it ever gets commissioned, so we do like, there's a big pitch for each episode in here. And I actually went to Arnhem to shoot this footage and stuff for that episode. But yeah, if it ever gets commissioned, Mauler, I'll tell you now, if I have my pick of writers, because I won't write all the episodes myself. If I have my pick of writers, you'll be on the team. I'll tell you now.
Well, I mean, I'm absolutely flattered. Thank you for the consideration, but there'd probably be people who are much better suited, who have great knowledge of history, sort of thing, that might be.
It's not about the knowledge. It's not about the knowledge of history. It's not about the knowledge of history. It's about the grasp of narrative and characters and dialogue. I'm there to help you out with the knowledge of the history. Don't worry about that. These are some of the actors that we had attached. That's Sharon, Duncan, Brewster, my friend that was in June, the remake of June, of course. There's a whole load of other people here. Then, of course, Jason Flemyng. And a gazillion other people are also on here. There's Danny Webb from Alien 3. There's also an interview with Danny on the channel. There's an interview with Phil Davis on my channel, who's up the top here with the white hair. There's several interviews with Jason. Jason's even called on the phone and come on the channel when I've been live a couple of times, which is quite funny. But yeah, there's interviews with many of those people attached to that project. So you can check out all the stuff they've been doing in their careers and things. What have you got coming up? You've just dropped, when you said, oh, I've got a video dropping, and it was it Force Awakens?
That's the one, yeah.
I didn't realise it was part 5 of Force Awakens. I was like, I was sort of listening to it, and I was like, oh, this is good. I'm enjoying this. And he said, so as I said in my earlier, in part 4 and part 3 of, and I was like, hang on, what? So actually, that whole thing, if you stitch it together, that's another mega one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it equals out somewhat when it's going to be finished to a similar-ish size to the Outlaws one. I think it'll equal to something like 12 hours or whatever. But yeah, that one's been running for a long time. It's at this point, it's less a ripping down of Force Awakens and more me taking chances to sort of celebrate what film was supposed to be about and how it's lost its way, especially Star Wars, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I would have given. I said this, I think, around the time I was doing my first movie, which is a low-budget film. None of you ever will have seen it. And so somebody said to me, I was being interviewed on a radio, and somebody said to me, "What feature film would you like to do, Lance, if you could do anything?" And I think they were gearing up to do the prequel trilogy at the time. It was coming out in a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, oh, do you know what? I'd really love to write and direct a Boba Fett film, because he was always my favorite character in Star Wars. I'd love to do a Boba Fett movie. Well, they fucked that up for me, didn't they? That's not happening.
Well, no one wants one now.
Even if I was a big in-demand director, I couldn't touch that well now. It's been poisoned,
Yeah, I mean, I assume you heard, but Soderbergh can't even get them to greenlight a Star Wars movie with him behind it. It's they're in trouble.
Soderbergh, really? I didn't know that story.
There was a pitch for him to do a Ben Solo film, and they apparently rejected it because they were like, we don't really know how Ben Solo would be alive because he dies in Rise of Skywalker, which is one of the funniest reasons to reject.
Right.
Considering how they work now with people coming back to life all the time.
And it's such a shame that we didn't get to see the Alien franchise film of what's his name, who directed Elysium and Chappie and the South African director. I forget his name now.
I know who you're talking about, yeah.
District 9, who did District 9. Someone in the chat will say the name. It's a shame we didn't get his film, because I would have loved to have see that.
I will absolutely take a gamble over Romulus and Alien Earth for sure.
Also, something else that might interest people is I'm the last person who ever interviewed Alan Tompkins. This is him here. He's an art director. He was the art director on Empire Strikes Back. This sadly is he actually had a brochure for his live celebration. That's the book that he did, which I think you can still get. Alan also worked on Band of Brothers, Saving Private Ryan. There he is on the set of The Empire Strikes Back, The very last interview he gave before he passed away is in 2 parts. It's on my channel. He also worked on A Bridge Too Far. He worked on Lawrence of Arabia. He worked on Cleopatra. I mean, yeah, you're talking, it was an absolute legend. He tried everything he could to help me get my Pegasus Bridge movie made. Absolutely fantastic man. And I really miss him dearly. But wonderful, wonderful person. And a funny little side story is that I went to his life celebration, and his wife had asked me to say a few words, and I thought, okay, there'll be a whole load of us getting up and sort of talking about him, which there were. And some guy came running up to me who was like the guy organising the running order and everything. Are you Lance? I'm like, yeah. Oh right, you're doing the main eulogy, aren't you? Am I? Yeah. So you're going to be going last, and you've got like 10 minutes and allocated and all this. And I was like, right. And I hadn't even written a speech. And I was like, I'm doing the main eulogy. So I was like, ran into the bar. Can I have a large double brandy, please? And then I just got my notebook out. And I was like furiously writing. Anyway, it went down really well, and his widow was very happy. So, but that was, I think Alan would have found that very amusing that I didn't actually know that. Did the two of us meet through YouTube? Yes, we did. If you go to Industry Interview 1, which is with my actor Jason Flemyng, I invited Wil and Mauler to come on as my guest co-hosts. And I knew that I wanted to work with them both because we were all singing from the same song sheet. And I just thought, I wasn't really sure what I was doing on my YouTube channel at that time. And listen, I make hardly any money on my YouTube channel. I used to do about 4 streams a week in 2024, but in 2025, my focus was very much on film and my books that I was writing. So I don't make a lot of money on YouTube, but you know what? I love doing it. And one of the reasons I love doing it is because I get to do stuff with people like this chap here. I am pointing the right way, thank God. It's quite difficult. You get quite disorientated when you're doing that. And I love doing it. I don't get obsessed about, I mean, I do want to hit 6,000 today because we're so close to 6K, but I never look at my numbers. I only check like what my subs are at like 3 or 4 times a year. I don't like check it week in, week out. And but my channel is an open door. So any YouTubers watching, no matter how big or small your channel is, get in touch with me. You're always welcome to come on. Sometimes I do something after open bar. If I'm not feeling too knackered, I do a stream called After Open Bar, which is after the open bar on Thursday. Sometimes I'm on open bar, but I normally only come on if I feel like I can add something to the topic. And I was on it 2 weeks ago, and of course it was very much about the state of film production today, and that was something I really wanted to talk about and felt I could offer some interesting insights being in the industry. So, okay, Mauler, we're going to wrap it up there because we've gone over 2 hours. We said it'd be 2 hours, just gone over 2 hours, 12 minutes. I want to really thank you so much, not only for coming on, but also bringing the Mauler army over to my channel, that's really kind. He said, "Oh, I'm going to raid you," and I thought I'd misheard him, and I wondered what was going on there. Had to check that my wine hadn't been spiked or something.
You never know with me.
Some new YouTube thing. But now I understand. How close are we to 6 hours? I don't know. Let me check quickly before we go off air. I'll tell you. And for the benefit of the people watching, I'm going to give you the long version of the outro because it's got tons of my other things that I've had on the channel advertised. I am currently at 5,936. So we just have 64 subs to go. I have a feeling that I'll probably get those over the next coming days. I don't want to keep my guest on any longer, but just do want to say while I've got a few people watching, listen, if you have supported my channel over the last couple of years, because I came out of 2022 in a very, very difficult part of my life, was going through a divorce, and it was a whole load of other things that happened, which you can read about in my book. If you buy my book, Back to Raving at 50, you can read all about what happened. It's all in there. But there's a whole chapter on YouTube in the book, and actually, so Mauler, you get a mention in there, yeah, there's a chapter in the Raving book. It's called I think the chapter's called YouTube Interlude Therapy. And I basically talk about how before I went back to dancing, my therapy was basically running my, here it is, was running my YouTube channel. There's a picture of me and Drinker there in the book. I think that was taken the third time we met in person. This is the proof copy of the book, so it's got all kinds of marks and things. But there you go. So this is the chapter, YouTube Interlude Therapy. That's the Raving book. And I talk about what a positive effect it had on my mental health running the channel. And that was really why I kept it going. It wasn't because I had big ambitions to become this big YouTuber or anything. I did think I could offer something that maybe people weren't with my interviews and my industry access. And I was always about promoting and supporting people. I thought if the channel gets big, I can promote the work of other creatives. So just to re-emphasize, that's what we do here. Yes, I do reviews and stuff, and I've got a Tuesday show. Every Tuesday, 10 o'clock, we review the latest film and TV shows. We try and talk about mainly stuff we think you should be watching, like The Mayor of Kingstown and stuff like that, which for me is one of the best shows out there at the moment. Mauler, if you haven't seen it, add it to your list of things to watch, The Mayor of Kingstown. With Jeremy Renner. Fantastic show. But again, I support creatives. So if you're a creative with a project, please do get in touch with me either via the Facebook page, the Outcast Creative. You can contact me on Twitter, Lance Nielsen WD. If you want to support me by purchasing either of my, I've got 16 books on Amazon, but these are the latest two. Silver Screen Journeys is available. This is a great Christmas gift for anyone who's into movies. And this is a great Christmas gift for anyone who's into raving. I'm sure my mods will chuck the various links in and things. So that's it from us. Mauler is going to be back on his channel. You're going to be on Open Bar's final show, or have they just done the final one?
I think we're done for this year, yeah, because it'll be Christmas next Thursday, which is not going to be a show. No. But I think Drinker's looking to try and do one for January 1st. So we'll.
Okay. Well, there's this. I don't know if Drinker's going away or not yet, but if he's not, he's going to be on my channel on the 30th, which is my best and the worst of 2025. You're very welcome to pop on for a little bit if you want, or for the whole thing. And I'm also going to be doing a couple of streams over Christmas. I'm probably going to do one stream on Christmas Day in the evening. It's going to be called "Let's Make Lance's Christmas a Bit Less Shit." That's the current working title of the stream, and I might do one on Boxing Day around the same time. So because I've got someone coming over for Christmas dinner, but the rest of the time I'm on my own for Christmas. So I'm going to come on and do a couple of streams so you lot can keep me company. Yeah. So thanks very much, Mauler, for your time. I really appreciate it, mate. And do you know what? Let's do another one of these sometime next year, and we'll make it very film focused.
Sure, yeah, we can absolutely do that. And thank you, of course, for inviting me and for the honestly very, very kind words about my work. I really appreciate it. No,
I honestly, I'm not just blowing your trumpet, although, thanks for that 200 quid in cash that you sent me earlier. But I wasn't just trying to big up your ego. I really mean it. I mean, you've got a beautiful way of writing, and I mean, yeah, your criticism is funny and it's amusing, and that's what makes it very entertaining, but and brutal at times, but also very honest and insightful. And I just think I'm amazed that you haven't had, honestly, I'm amazed that you've not had people from games design studios calling you out and trying to get in contact with you and saying, hey, we're developing this game at the minute, it's about this. Would you mind coming on and giving us a bit of advice? Because I think you'd be a good person to have on the development stage. Yeah, you're not going to sit there and write code and stuff. I've missed some super chats, have I? Oh shit. Oh yeah, okay. Fun conversation. Thank you very much. I already answered that one. Did either of you see Freud's last session?
Freud. That's an Anthony Hopkins movie. Yes, I saw it. I quite liked Anthony Hopkins' performance in it. I wasn't super a fan of the script. There's some good stuff in there, but they don't really get to explore the main themes of the film that well, I don't think.
Okay.
I also saw
I'll see.
Loft, which is another one of his recent films, but that was like 50-50 as well.
I was teasing Mauler about the 17 hours for one video, saying he needs to go out more. Listen, he does go out more. He's going to a day rave with me in 2026. I told you already. And then I think this is the last one. Lance, Dick Machine Gun Guy, not like things with magic in them. I've no idea what that means, but I'm just going to assume that you're saying that I'm amazing in bed. So thank you for that. That's it from us. We're going to shoot off. If I have missed any, I will pick them up on my end of the year show, and I'll cover them then. But Mauler, thanks very much for your time, and everyone watching, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate that your supporters didn't just come over and then in 10 minutes they all buggered off. Really appreciate the fact that you stayed around. If you gave me a sub, I really appreciate it. My channel content may or may not be for you, but there is a lot of interesting stuff on there, so do have a look around. And some of it is mentioned in this. And by the way, this song was created for me by another YouTuber, because collaborating is what we're all about. So Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you soon.
Hang out with the Lance at the Outcast Creative, where all the misfits